go, folks. Day four. FBI guy still testifying.
Yeah. The state's strategy either is to bore us into a coma or try to rip our souls out through our hearts.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah. And in the middle of everything, here's Bill Copp's picture book. Completely unexpected. I did not think that was in the curriculum for 9 and 10-year-olds. And yeah. All right. Oh, it seems like we are already starting. George is here. I see this as Steph's asked. Couldn't the jury have decided rather than throwing it all out? It's law in Texas that if this non-disclosure to the defense affects their ability to put forward a defense, the judge is forced by law to make these decisions. In many other states,
good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated in the
jury
courtroom.
question.
When we recessed yesterday, we were on direct examination of the ranger, so you may proceed.
And Your Honor, we have just this minute turned over the additional photograph for Ranger Wright's testimony for their inspection. They're in the process of inspecting that, and so once they've had a chance to do that, we'll be ready to call them as evidence.
Okay.
Okay, it's handed over. Mid-trial, they hand over more pictures.
Good Lord. Was the state awake when they were preparing for this trial?
They might have hoped for a plea deal. Then all of a sudden, no, going to trial. Damn, we have to put something together. Yeah, I mean, the prosecution might have sleeves up their aces and bring forward something that really shows that this guy made a conscious decision to, I'm going to let this guy go.
Yeah,
but until then, I'm not so sure that this goes to the level of a crime.
No, because the state has to prove that he was uniquely responsible, that his actions precipitated everything.
Mm-hmm. And until then, if they don't have this is just a parade. They are parading victims that really wants to be at home, figuring things out. Instead, they are forced up on the stand to relive it.
Yeah, I do not like this strategy. I really don't. And I don't think the jury's going to appreciate it, because the jury is essentially, we can process, we can have a puppy kitten break. They can't talk to anyone. They can't talk about the case.
What are the numbers, Mr. Turner?
Start with 164 and end with 261.
Okay.
Does the judge look extra pissed today?
Yeah, he's been protecting Macaulay Culkin all night.
True.
Yeah. Oh, he's either very tired or he's done with it. I mean, he already had to deny him his trial, and all of a sudden on day 4, hey, we just handed over more evidence. Or more pictures we didn't tell the... I mean, this guy is on the stand. He's in the middle of testimony. Why do they have to add more pictures in the middle of testimony?
Why wouldn't you have had it? Because the standard thing is to kind of have him go through the whole stack.
Yeah.
Then Fair point.
Fair point. Yeah.
The wet bandits are,
Yeah.
they're a crazy bunch.
They are very lucky they didn't focus on stealing beds. The bedwetter bandits.
Yeah.
But, folks, welcome to Bad Jokes while we can do it, because there will be witnesses here that will break our hearts and our
Okay.
souls.
Yes,
So,
but if anyone can Photoshop the judge's face right now onto that Ben Affleck smoking depressedly meme,
yeah.
it's like when your dad's mad at you, but it's not like that rage, it's that disappointment that his genes failed so badly.
Hey, Dad, I decided to go to culinary school instead of electronics. Really? Really? Then I became a food tech, and then I went to law school. So it all went good. But at that moment, oh, he was not happy. Oh, Papa Viking wasn't happy. But he was very. I mean, he was. He lived. I mean, he was
Any objection?
an adult at the
Admitted.
Summer of Love
You may
of
publish.
'69 and
Proceed.
everything.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of course, you're going to have your freedoms, kid.
Right when we left yesterday, you had discussed with us the defects, bullet defects that were in 102, that southwest corner of the room, correct?
Yes,
And how they had gone across the hallway.
correct.
And so now we are moving to Stacy Exhibit 164.
Yeah, folks, we might be hearing about kids soon.
Stacy Exhibit 164, could you tell
So
us
be
what we're looking
prepared.
at there?
That is a diagram of Robb Elementary, or at least that building within Robb Elementary. And the highlighted room is 108, which is directly across the hall from 102.
And that's where you continued following the path of bullet fragments, is that correct?
Correct.
And would you tell us what Stacy Exhibit 165 is?
That is a photograph of the entrance into classroom 108.
To orient us, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And 166?
That is going to be a photograph just stepping inside of room 108, turning to the right and just seeing that part of the classroom.
And which of those walls is adjacent to the hallway?
The wall on the right with the cabinets is
And
going
is
to be
there-
on the back side of that wall is the hallway.
And does one of your rods appear in that photograph?
May I approach, Your Honor? You're going to see one of our flight path rods right here coming through this wall.
Thank you. And 167?
It's going to be a closer photograph of that flight path rod, the bullet defect in the wall, and the flight path rod coming straight through.
And am I correct that you can only affix that flight path rod if it is clear to you the path of the rod, of the fragment? Stacy Exhibit 168?
It's just going to be another closer photograph of the flight path rod coming through the wall.
And Stacy Exhibit 169?
That is going to be a photograph of standing kind of close to the door of the classroom, looking back toward the windows on the opposite side. So to orientate the jury, it would be if the bullets had come in this window originally in room 102, gone through that wall, through the hallway, through that wall. It's going to be the windows on the complete opposite side of the building.
And where did you find, if you did, a defect in that photograph?
You can see it's kind of hard to see right here, but I do get another photograph later, but it's going to be where the bullet comes in and hits these blinds right here on that window.
And Exhibit 170.
It's going to be a closer up of the bullet defect. This is going to be one of those sticky adhesive markers that we use to identify it. That's going to be the bullet defect going into the blind.
And Exhibit 171.
Closer photograph of where the bullet struck the blind.
And 172, is that even closer?
Correct.
And along with that defect, were you able to find any bullet or bullet fragments?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 173.
Yes, the bullet is going to be down here as evidenced by this marker, number 15.
174.
That is the actual bullet that came through. It came to rest on the windowsill.
And is it a complete bullet or a fragment?
It's pretty deformed. It doesn't look like it has a jacket. It looks like part of the core of the bullet, like a lead core.
Okay, thank you. Now, was that the extent of the defects you found then in room 108?
Yes.
And what was the next room that you searched?
I can't remember the exact number. It's
Okay, well, let me just move to Exhibit 175.
Okay, yeah, so it's going to be room 104.
And when you move from 102 to 104, does that mean there were no defects in 103?
Correct.
Okay, and so you took pictures of the defects and went to the rooms where there were actual defects.
Correct.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 176, is this an outside view of that room?
Yes.
And do you see flags in that photograph?
Yes.
Would you point those out?
You're going to be flags in the grass right there.
Okay, and are they, were there defects in that window to the left of those flags?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 177. Can you tell us what that is?
That's going to be a closer up a photograph of that window. You can see where the glass is completely shattered in many of these places. You can see some of the, a couple of the trajectory rods placed in bullet defects coming from outside the window going to the inside.
And would you talk to us about the bottom pane of the window?
Well, there's not much glass there. It's completely shattered.
My guess here is that they will try to do a projectile trajectory showing this is where we believe he fired these shots from, which I assume will point that he is somehow in the line of sight of Gonzales. And then the defense will probably have an expert rebutting that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also serving the dual purpose that if Adrian Gonzales, like the defense, believes the, charges are written, he's only responsible until he stepped into those two rooms, then this is what he was doing in those steps toward those two rooms.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know what caused that shattering?
If I'm not mistaken, this room, I believe, this was probably, it may have been bullet defects, but it could have also been attempts to escape the classroom, trying to break the window so students could get out of the classroom.
So so it's fair to say you can tell us the origin of why that shattered. It's just when you see it, it's shattered. Is that
Correct.
Okay. And your rods are also indicated there, indicating the path of the bullet through the window. Is that correct?
Correct. And this is the room also, you can see these gaps over here. This window frame was removed. We found it that way. It was removed. To take these photographs, we had to actually place that window back into the window frame.
So in a few minutes, we're going to see where the window's actually on the ground, but you had to place it in its proper spot. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you don't know why that happened, why the window frame was removed.
No.
And State's Exhibit 178.
It's a photograph of classroom 104, the entrance to it.
And Exhibit 179.
It's just going to be a photograph inside, looking inside room 104.
And do you recognize any of your yellow markers or yellow tints? I'm not sure what term you use.
Yes, these evidence markers here on the floor.
Okay. And is the window likewise in that photograph 179?
Yes, this is the window frame that we saw earlier. We had placed it up here to take these photographs, but this is how we had originally found it. The window frame had been removed and was placed there.
Showing you Exhibit 180. Can you tell us what that is?
This is going to be, it's going to be damage to the blinds covering that window. You can see quite a bit of
JK sent me the picture you asked for.
Yes, he sent it to me, but I didn't want to stop the stream to like say, "Hey, I found something funny," because respect and such. I think it's pretty good.
Yep. Folks, we need these breaks. We
Yes.
thank you, and because it's either because this is utterly boring or our souls are ripped out. We will make
Yeah.
we will try to make the unbearable tolerable.
Yes, and we're more obnoxious when we're bored.
Yeah, definitely. But it is Friday and I'm off work, but there will not be a wheel of regrets during this stream. No. It will be later today, 5
Yeah.
p.m.
We'll
5 p.m.
regret
Eastern.
things later.
We will regret things later.
bullet fragments or glass. Whenever bullets strike glass, a lot of times it pulverizes the glass. It turns it into shrapnel, for lack of a better term, and it causes a lot of damage here. You can see all of these things here.
And State's Exhibit 181.
Again, just another photograph of that window. You can see the damage to these blinds and all the shattered glass.
Okay, and once again, you don't know the origin of that shattered glass, is that correct?
Correct.
Exhibit 182.
Going to be another photograph of this window. You can see the window down here, the window frame that had been removed from the original housing here, and it's just down here on the floor.
And did you photograph the damage to the window frame when it was in that position?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 183.
Okay, yes, this is a bullet defect that's in the window frame.
And 184.
Another bullet defect in the window frame.
And 185.
Closer view of the defect in the window frame.
And would you describe the defect in a little more detail? Tell us if it gave you an idea about where the bullet came from, the other side of the window frame or from this side of the window frame?
Correct. So in this one, we can tell that the directionality of the bullet traveling through this window frame, it was coming from outside to inside. So if you could kind of imagine that this is the side that's facing the classroom. So this would be the backside facing the exterior, facing the outside of the building. And you can see the directionality of the bullet coming in. You can see how it bent the metal as it comes through.
State's Exhibit 186.
This is going to be a picture of, this is one of our, another one of the Texas Rangers holding the window frame in place in that window housing.
And 187.
Just a closer photograph of the same thing.
And 188.
Another photograph of that window being held in place.
Okay. Just kind of a side note, 187, if we could go back one. Just in the background, there's a car parked there.
Here,
Yes. And then 188. Is the car gone?
yes.
What explains the difference in that?
This was a long process doing all of these. So we photographed it at different intervals, different times. So I believe we were there working this particular side, this west side of this building for 2 or 3 days. So at any given time during that 2 or 3 days, cars may have come and gone. We really weren't paying attention to those outside. We were just worried about trying to place this window frame back in its place and photographing and documenting first off how we found it, and then how the bullets would have entered this window.
Thank you. And exhibit 189.
It's going to be a close-up of a bullet defect in the glass.
190.
This is going to be a photograph of one of the bullet defects in the window frame.
And also, does that tell you the origin, whether it's inside the room or outside the room?
As far as direction,
Yes, sir.
yes, it shows that the bullet did come from the outside and coming to the interior of the window. You can see the directionality. You can see how the metal again bent around the bullet, and it shows the direction of the bullet.
And exhibit 191.
It's going to be a closer view of the bullet defect.
And the defect on the opposite side of that window frame, does it feel smaller than the defect on this side of the window frame?
It does.
And what's the explanation for that?
When a bullet passes through a surface, depending on lots of factors, depending on the surface it's passing through, depending on the bullet itself, typically.
If they have the trajectory evidence, putting the shooter at a specific point, every other could be, here's bullet holes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's already been stipulated that the shooter was there, the shooting happened. So
Yeah.
I don't know why we're having to do all of this. It seems torturous.
Yeah. I mean, if there is a stipulation in place and the only thing in contention is where does your trajectory put him at, then focus on that.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what's going on here.
Yeah, it's weird.
A bullet sometimes will expand as it goes through through a surface like this. So as it went through the exterior coming in, this bullet, whether it was the bullet itself actually expanding or some of the shrapnel and some of the other stuff breaking off of the bullet, some of the bullet fragments, caused a much larger hole on this opposite side.
So a bullet going through a soft object may maintain its integrity, but if it hits a hard object, it may expand and fragment.
It could. I think there are a lot of variables with both of those, with the composition of the bullet and the composition of the whatever it's passing through.
Can we
Fair enough.
stipulate this is Texas?
Exhibit 192.
Just going to be another, this is one of the trajectory rods coming through a bullet defect, showing it passing from the exterior to the interior.
And 193.
Another photograph, another bullet defect with a trajectory rod showing the direction of travel from the outside to the inside.
And is it slightly elevated also?
Yes.
And what does that say about the position of where the gun was in comparison to the window?
So this would indicate that the muzzle of the rifle, of the weapon, where the bullet was fired from, would have been a little bit lower on the outside. It would have been a little bit lower in elevation as it fired, and the bullet passed through, coming in and going at an upward angle into the classroom.
And when we looked at exhibits 102, is that consistent then with fragments ending up in the ceiling?
I believe so, yes.
State's exhibit 194.
This is going to be a photograph inside the classroom, standing back by the window, looking back at the door, the entrance door, and you can see some of our evidence markers up here with some of the trajectory rods inside some of the bullet defects. Around the door here, you can see some of our evidence markers indicating bullet defects on that wall.
So did you find that these defects were directly across from the window?
Yes,
And then we close in on those defects, is that correct?
correct.
Showing you exhibit 195.
Just a closer angle of these bullet defects on the ceiling and the wall.
And 196.
More of an overall photograph of standing back by the window again, showing the bullet defects on the ceiling and the wall by the entrance door.
And it may be light there, but do your rods appear there also?
Yes.
Showing you 197.
This will be a closer view of the bullet defects. You can actually see one of the pink rods right there.
And 198.
Closer view of the, these are the bullet defects that are, so here's the door. So the window would be back this way from the screen. So you can see the actual trajectory rods going in to some of these bullet defects in the ceiling tiles.
Exhibit 199.
Another photograph from a different angle of some of the bullet defects in the ceiling tiles.
And did you close in on those to show us why you believe they were bullet defects in 200, exhibit
Yes.
200?
Yes. Another angle, another photograph showing bullet defects of various sizes, whether they were complete bullets or bullet fragments or actual shrapnel from glass from the window frame. It's hard to tell exactly, but you can tell some of the directionality of how they're moving.
And exhibit 201.
Just a closer photograph of one of the bullet defects in the ceiling tiles.
Exhibit 202.
This is going to be a photograph of some more of the bullet defects in the ceiling tiles.
And 203.
This is a closer view of one of the bullet defects in the ceiling tile.
Okay. So there were a number of defects in the ceiling tile, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. 204.
This is going to be another photograph of a bullet defect in the ceiling tile. You can see another defect over here on this side.
And 206.
Another bullet defect in the ceiling tile.
And 207.
Another bullet defect in the ceiling tile.
Backing off from that then, in exhibit 208, is this giving us a general view of the room? 204.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
This is 208. Thank you. Could you tell us what 208 is?
As far as the classroom?
Yes, sir. And do your yellow marker or tents appear there?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of those yellow markers or tents?
These are going to be showing either bullet fragments or some type of shrapnel some type of object that came from whenever the bullets were fired into the windows.
Would you take a second just to show us the tents that you see in that photograph?
Yes. So there's number 12 right here. I think that's going to be number 5 right there. Can't really tell. But these are items that we found on the desks. Over here, there's going to be closer to the window, there's going to be more evidence markers indicating bullet fragments or some type of shrapnel that we thought was related to the bullets coming in through the windows or the window frames.
And exhibit 209, does that show some of those markers better?
Yes.
And would you show us where those are?
Yes. These are the markers closer to the window that we just saw in the previous photograph. This one is actually going to be another bullet fragment closer to the entrance door of the classroom, marked number 4.
Exhibit 210?
It's going to be a closer angle of exhibit 4 and exhibit 3.
And exhibit 211?
Going to be a closer photograph of exhibit 3, which is a bullet fragment.
212?
Just a photograph of exhibit 4, which is going to be another apparent bullet fragment.
And 213, is that a close-up of that?
Yes.
214?
Going to be evidence marker number 5 with an exhibit right there.
And is 215 a close-up of that?
Yes.
And what is?
So at the scene, it was kind of hard to differentiate right offhand whenever we were right there on the scene. So could this have been shrapnel from one of the mini blinds, or could it have been shrapnel from the window frame, or could it have been a bullet fragment? We weren't sure at that exact moment, so we went ahead, erred on the side of caution to mark it as just an item that obviously should not have been there, and it came as a result of the bullets passing through the windows or the window frames.
So whether it's bullet fragment or shades or the aluminum frame, it's a piece of metal that's flying through the air of room 104, is that correct?
Correct.
And 216?
It's going to be just another view of some of the evidence markers next, closer to the window.
And 217?
It's going to be evidence markers number 6 and number 7. And we're going to see a piece of either bullet fragment or shrapnel here. And the same
218,
as
does that
here.
close up on number 6?
Yes.
And from looking at that, can you tell the origin of that?
In hindsight, it looks more like a piece of the mini blind, maybe a piece of shrapnel that came from the bullet defect. But at the time, we didn't know if it was a piece of a metal jacket coming from one of the bullets or if it was a piece of the mini blind.
Thank you. 219?
It's just a closer photograph of it.
And 220?
It's going to be evidence markers number 7, number 8, and number 9.
And marker 8, is that next to a paper airplane?
That's what it looks like, yes.
Exhibit 221?
It's going to be another piece of evidence that we found, actually a couple of little pieces here, marked number 8.
And 222?
It's going to be evidence markers 8, 9, and 11, indicating some of the items that we found on the floor close to the window.
Exhibit 223?
It's going to be another piece of debris, whether it's shrapnel or a bullet fragment, closer to the window.
224?
This is going to be just a photograph of evidence markers 9, 10, and 11. We actually had to pull this bookcase out to see that. And obviously this is the window frame. The window would have been in this location over here.
And for a reference marker, the tent number 10, is that closest to the wall?
Yes.
So looking at 225, can you tell us which marker this belongs to?
That's going to be, I believe that's going to be number 10 right here. So this is the wall. It's on the floor here. And this is a piece of it appears to be a piece of a copper jacket from a bullet. So it'd be a bullet fragment, but it would be the piece of the copper jacket that covers that lead core of the bullet.
And 226.
Just another photograph of 8, 9, 10, and 11.
227.
There's going to be a piece of debris on the floor with our evidence marker there showing the size of it.
228.
It's going to be this is a photograph of the desk area. This is going to be the entrance door into the classroom. So to orient the jury, this photograph would have been taken closer from the window area, looking back toward the door, and evidence marker 5 and 12 on these desks.
229.
It's going to be a close-up of exhibit number 12.
And then 230.
It's going to be a piece of debris, either a jacket or a piece of mini blind, some type of shrapnel that was found on the desk.
And 231.
This is going to be a photograph looking close to the entrance door, or from the entrance door of the classroom, looking back toward the window, but they had these double doors that went into the classroom next door to it. So these doors are open. So this is going to be some of the evidence markers that are there, and some of the things that we found on the floor, on the desk, and some of those other evidence markers were over there that y'all saw earlier.
So those internal doors allow two different classrooms to access two different classrooms.
Correct.
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 You could come in one door and then go into the other classroom by this adjoining door.
Correct.
Exhibit 232.
It's going to be a close-up of or a photograph of evidence marker number 13.
And 233.
It's going to be a closer up of some of the shrapnel or bullet fragment labeled number 13 that's on the floor.
Exhibit 234.
This is going to be the entrance door to that classroom. You can see bullet defects on the wall over here, and you can see one of our trajectory rods stuck in one of those bullet defects.
And exhibit 235.
That's going to be a bullet defect that hit the door frame. It did not go through the door frame. It just hit right there and made a defect, made basically like a dent in that metal door frame. You can see where it knocked the paint off, but there's a definite indentation from where the bullet hit it.
236.
That's going to be a closer angle or a closer view of that bullet defect.
And 237.
That's going to be kind of a zooming out photograph again of some of the bullet defects on the wall by the door.
238.
That's going to be a bullet defect on the right side of the door.
And 239.
It's going to be it appeared that it's going to be a piece of a copper jacket that surrounded the lead core of the bullet. It's embedded in the wall right here.
And 240.
This is going to be a couple of bullet defects that are on top of the door.
241.
Another view of those bullet defects with one of our trajectory rods in this one on the left.
And 242. If we now move to the hallway.
Yes, this is going to be bullet defects that are outside the door. So to orient the jury again, if the windows are on the exterior of the building, going to the door that's on that wall, this is going to be in the hallway on the opposite side of that wall. You can see where one of the bullets came through, created a defect right here and right there.
And did you, well, let me just show you 243. Is that a close-up of that defect?
Yes.
And can you tell directionality from that defect?
Yes, it's coming from exterior, through the windows, through the classroom, through the wall on the opposite side into the hallway.
Exhibit 244.
This is going to be one of our trajectory rods going through that bullet defect, coming from the classroom into the hallway.
Showing a slightly upward angle once again.
Correct.
245.
This is going to be a trajectory rod coming from that bullet defect, and it caused that bullet defect on the ceiling. So this is the wall in the hallway, and this is the ceiling in the hall.
Toffee,
Yes. I was just typing. So the one I thought I had is the guy that was training the teachers and staff for what to do in the shooting. I remember yesterday they asked about the teachers training. No, the reason this man is being charged is he was a resource officer and he was the first person on scene. Now the state is saying that he had an opportunity to stop this and he didn't.
Yeah, so this guy had nothing to do with the training of the teachers.
And as near as I can tell, the training for the teachers seemed to be kind of ad hoc. Usually they would have like a company come in, they have a required curricula, and it seemed like they just kind of told the teachers to lock the door and pretend that no one's home.
Yeah.
But they must have been within Texas regulations because they're accredited. So I don't know what Texas required at that time as far as training.
Yeah, it's a bit unclear what the training actually was, and apparently they had a lot of these lockdowns sort of things, trainings. So to the extent that it was what's the word? Incentivized.
Desensitized.
Desensitized. So teachers started putting magnets on the doors so they wouldn't lock. Kids saying, it's just another drill, stuff like that. And so, yeah.
Hallway. So that bullet came through the wall and made a bullet defect right there on the ceiling.
And does 246 show then the defect in the ceiling?
Yes.
And did that conclude then your investigation as to the room 204 and the defects that went through that room?
Yes.
So did you next move to room 105?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 247.
Okay, this is the diagram of the building again. Room 105 is highlighted in yellow here.
And was there any defects from outside to inside in room 105?
I believe there were.
You did. Let's go through that. 248. Could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so this is going to be a photograph from outside in the hallway of room 105, and we have a bullet defect right there.
And 249.
So this is going to be a view of room 105 from the area of the entrance door And you can see some of our evidence markers here.
Okay. And is there a window there that is not in its complete form?
Yes,
And do you know how it was destroyed?
I wasn't there when it happened, so I don't know exactly.
Okay. And how many markers came out of room 105? Just these two?
Just these two.
Exhibit 250? I guess I'm closing up on the window there at that point.
Yes, that's going to be a view of, it's going to be that window there, but our evidence markers are going to be right here on this TV stand.
And what is in front of that window?
That is a bookcase that's been turned over.
And if it were upright, could you access the window?
No,
And if it's knocked over, could you access the window?
yes.
Exhibit 251.
That's going to be a photograph of the TV stand with our two exhibits or markers.
Exhibit 252.
And it's another photograph of the TV stand with our evidence markers.
And exhibit 253.
It's going to be a closer view of evidence marker number 1. Here's the TV, and it's on the TV stand.
And exhibit 252? No, 254, excuse me.
It's a closer view of a bullet fragment that was found on this TV stand.
And 255.
This is going to be a bullet defect that was directly above the TV stand. You can see our evidence of the sticky adhesive marker on the ceiling tile right here, and that's the bullet defect.
And exhibit 256.
There is the piece of shrapnel or bullet fragment that is embedded in the ceiling tile.
Exhibit 257.
That's going to be that's a view, a photograph view standing near the front door, near the entrance door of the classroom, looking back to the right at this wall. So this wall would be adjacent to the hallway. Just on the opposite side of this wall would be the hallway.
And on the opposite side of that hallway, would that be room 102? Excuse me. I've lost the numbers. 1 second. 111, excuse me.
Yes.
And exhibit 258.
This is going to be a bullet defect in the wall. Again, on the opposite side of this wall is going to be the hallway.
And exhibit 259.
That's going to be a closer angle of the bullet defect in that wall.
And exhibit 260.
This is going to be a view from the hallway looking into the classroom 105.
And 261.
That's going to be what appears to be a bullet defect from outside in the hallway, looking at the top left corner of that door going into 105.
And once again, across from that room would be 111. Is that correct?
Correct.
So based on the glass being shattered in this room 105, as well as these defects in the walls, are you able to determine the origin of that one fragment in 105?
The one fragment, so the windows in this room were not shattered by bullets coming from the exterior to the interior. This one appears that the bullet came from the inside, from traveling into this room from the hallway, going into the room. So it was from the interior of the building.
And how are you able to exclude that it didn't come from the shattered window?
Because there were no bullet defects that we found in the window
Itself. Okay. Pass the witness.
Yeah, I see.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Ranger, we briefly shook hands yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, my name is Nico LaHood. I represent Adrian, one of 3 lawyers who represent Adrian. You've done this before. You've testified, so I'm just gonna jump right in.
Sure.
Okay. You're obviously qualified as a trajectory analyst, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you described to the jury yesterday what that is, but you're trying to determine pathway of a bullet, a trajectory analysis from its origin to its endpoint, correct?
Correct.
And often they use your skill set with wound path analysis, right?
Yes.
Right, because it's the next step. If somebody unfortunately is struck by that trajectory, then the wound path should match the trajectory of the starting point and the end point where it rested.
Yes.
Okay. What training does an individual like yourself go through to do this type of analysis?
Well, as a Texas Ranger, we all have to go through a 3-week advanced crime scene school.
3 weeks.
We do
3 weeks?
lots of continuing education throughout our careers. One of the schools that I went to was a 10-week course of study at the University of Tennessee, the National Forensic Academy. That included shooting reconstruction, and those are the main, I guess, the main educational courses that I've been through.
Okay. And I think you said it on direct. I mean, this is not an exact science.
Are you talking about what, tracing the path of a bullet?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, bad question. Yes, sir. They're tracing the path.
Bullets do weird things sometimes.
I
So,
know you
yes.
just said that yesterday. They do. And so they're educated guesses.
Yes.
And you said they can go in a million different directions. Once it hits something, bullets are just, they do things that are weird,
They can.
often unexplainable.
Yes.
Okay. So now I want to direct your attention back to what you did there. And so you did this analysis. Is this the extent of what you did during your assignment or your duties of what you were given?
Are you talking about at Robb Elementary?
Yes, sir. At the Rob, from the rooms that you looked for evidence, is that's all you did?
I did a few other things there, but that was my main assignment.
Did you have anybody assist you in this endeavor?
There were some other Rangers that assisted, yes.
So you made the determination that the majority of the defects that you saw on the west side of the building came from outside.
Correct.
And you were mentioning things about the frame of the window and the indention of the entrance versus the exit. That's called beveling, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And will you explain to the jury what beveling is?
So beveling is, again, like, I guess, could we pull up that photograph of
Sure.
one of the window frames?
What do you remember what number that is? Any one of the window frames?
Yes. Any one of them showing that exterior defect and the interior defect.
They're right here. 183, for the record, Judge, it states exhibit 183, 184, and 185. I think we have it here. That's 183, Ranger.
That will work. Your Honor, may I approach the screen?
Yes, sir.
So in this one, if the bullet were to come from the exterior of the window, so from this side of the window coming out, this is an exit defect. So as it passes through this, surface, it makes the entrance defect and the exit defect. It bends the metal like I talked about earlier. It doubles it out. So kind of makes it to where you can tell the direction. As the bullet passes through this surface, it bends the metal coming out.
And so, thank you, sir. You can have a seat. And so an entrance defect is smaller and cleaner. Is that a fair statement?
Generally speaking.
Yes, sir, generally. And then an exit defect is usually larger and not as clean.
Correct.
I mean, irregular, I guess is a better word to use.
Yes.
Okay. And this is why you said, I think at the end of your testimony, that there were some defects in room, I thought it was room 105, that you believed were coming from the inside of the building.
Yes,
And when you use those trajectory rods, they're trying to trace back. So you're kind of start from the end point. You have to know where the entrance and the exit is, or the beginning and the ending. And you're trying to connect those lines together. And that's why that rod needs to be straight.
correct.
You can also use a laser.
Yes.
When does someone like you decide when to use a laser or a rod?
I could have used a laser here. There were so many bullet defects. But you can use a laser at any time during this process.
And that's just more of a preference?
Yes.
Is one more reliable than the other one?
Well, lasers are obviously, they're going to be straight. Rods, you do have a little bit of play in them. Sometimes we have the plastic cones that you can put inside of a bullet defect that the trajectory rod will fit in, so it kind of centers it more in the bullet defect itself.
And on two different occasions, at least that I heard, you talked about the trajectory, the bullet going through a window, through a classroom, through a hallway, or into a ceiling. It kept traveling.
Correct.
Is that correct? And so when you see what appears to be the end of the trajectory, it could have kept going. You never know, right?
Unless, I'm sorry, if you,
What I'm saying is, if you saw a defect in the ceiling tile, you obviously don't know the bullet kept going. You didn't find the actual bullet.
some of those, yes. There were some defects up above the ceiling tiles. Sometimes it was hard to determine exactly where they came to rest. But passing through those ceiling tiles, yeah, there was rafters up there and all kinds of things.
And just as a side note, the government's not going to contest us on this. The person responsible for these defects and causing this damage is dead, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's not Adrian sitting at the table with us.
No, to my knowledge, no, absolutely not.
And you're correct, by the way.
Yes.
And so at some point in your investigation, or you're part of this investigation, you heard that from the inside of the school, there were some rounds that went outside one of the windows on the back side, on the east side.
I'm sorry, so can you repeat that?
Room 111 and room 112 had, there was a bullet or bullets that went out of the building from 111.
I did not do any of the evidence gathering or evidence analysis in rooms 111 and 112.
But you understand there was defects outside of the building.
Are you talking about that came from 111 or 112?
Yes, sir.
Just maybe what I've heard through some of the other investigation, but I did not, I did very little in rooms 111, 112 past identification of the victim.
But you would agree that you are considered and you have testified as an expert in trajectory analysis in the past.
Yes.
So may I approach the witness?
Yes, yes.
Ranger, I'm handing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 2 for identification only. Okay. You recognize Defense 2, do you not?
I do not.
Okay. Would you let me get a bigger, I stay one.
Okay.
Nick,
Thank you, Jason.
the investigation is so
I'm
piecemeal.
also showing
Yeah.
you, Ranger, States Exhibit 1. Now, this is Robb Elementary.
Okay.
Do you recognize it? Okay.
Yes.
So she has the type of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is the west side of Robb Elementary.
Yes.
And this would be considered the south side.
Yes.
And this is the east side.
Yes.
And then room 111 roughly, this is the state's
Mm-hmm.
exhibit, but is in here, room 111 and 112 on the east side.
Yes.
And these are what they call wings of the building. These are extra buildings on the campus.
Yes.
And you might not know, but they're lettered from A to E. This would be Echo E, correct?
I'll take your word for it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, well, they're lettered. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
The court recorder's face.
And so on Defense Exhibit 2, this is a close-up of what? Would you agree that's a close-up of a defect? Regardless of where it's at, that's a defect.
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. And Did you do the analysis on Defense Exhibit 2? I'm sorry, Defense Exhibit 2 defect?
I did not.
Do you know if anybody did the analysis on Defense Exhibit 2 defect from building E?
I don't know.
Are you aware that these are metal buildings, so defects, trajectories will affect metal different than other surfaces?
So I'd say that's a fair statement.
And metal is metal is not a cover. I mean, it's more concealment. It's not going to protect you from a bullet.
Depends on what kind of metal. Are you talking about like the thin metal building?
The thin metal buildings, yes, sir.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Judge, this time we'd like to offer into evidence Defense Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
I don't believe he been able to identify it. He said he didn't work on that defect. He didn't see it. If they're offering it just to say it's a defect, I have no objection.
Well, yeah, they're going to want it in later, I'm sure, so we want it in.
I don't, do you have an
There's no objection.
All right, it's admitted.
Can we publish it to the jury, Judge?
Yes.
Okay, so that defect right there, if that were to be on the top part, because that's where the electrical is, on the top part of building E, then they, excuse me, you testified earlier that whenever there's a defect up higher, usually the source of that trajectory is lower, correct?
I think it depends on each circumstance. I mean, depending on what other evidence is present to indicate that the muzzle of that weapon would have been lower.
Sure. I mean, obviously, if somebody was in a building shooting down, that could be a possibility,
Yes.
right? But there are no buildings higher than this structure around Robb Elementary that you recall.
That I can recall now.
So if somebody is on the ground and the muzzle is lower and shooting up, then the defect would be higher on a building.
Generally speaking, yes.
Right. And you yourself, hopefully we'll get someone else to talk about this, but you yourself that's not your evidence there, your
That's
evidence
correct.
marker.
No.
But a defect on a building like that, behind a structure that had a lot of gunfire, it would be very difficult to pinpoint where that came from. Was that a fair statement?
I think there's a lot of variables with that. It would kind of depend on if there's another corresponding defect on the opposite side of that wall, or even within that wall, if we could see where the bullet passed through this surface and made contact with another surface. If there is a corresponding defect, that gives us 2 points of reference to put a trajectory rod or a laser.
But correct, that is right. Okay, but and you don't know if that was done on this defect.
I do not.
If somebody on the east side, may I approach, Judge?
Yes.
If somebody on the east side in front of this building, sorry, the west side.
South?
This is south. I'm so sorry. Ranger, you're right. I'm wrong. So on the south side of the building, correct, made a claim that there were multiple shots fired at that individual. Is it fair to say that we should see defects like this multiple times in this area?
Okay, can you, I guess, repeat that? I want to make sure my logistics are correct.
That's okay. If somebody, as an expert, if somebody is claiming there are multiple shots on the west side of the building here, in front of this structure,
This is the west side.
I'm getting myself confused. You're right. This is the west. On the south side of the building,
Okay, so if a suspect is, or if a person is here,
if a witness is on the south side of the building
okay,
claiming that a suspect fired multiple rounds at them on the south side of the building,
okay,
we should see defects somewhere in one of these buildings, E, D, or even C.
if it struck one of those buildings, yes. I mean, obviously it could pass through as well, but if it struck one of those buildings, that would make sense. That would be logical.
But but also let's talk about the pass through, because you said something. If those rounds passed through, there would be defects passed in structures behind that, right?
I'm sorry.
So
That came all of that was so sudden. I didn't have time.
in my initially
mute me.
confusing example, sorry about that. If somebody was on the south side of Robb Elementary and made a claim that a suspect shot multiple rounds at this individual, we should see defects here And that you said initially, yes,
Possibly,
Possibly.
yes.
unless they passed through, but then we should see defects here.
If it struck that, not necessarily, because again, bullets do weird things, depending on the trajectory of it. If it's going higher and over the building, if it goes lower and into the ground, there may be a bullet in the ground. So in that general direction, if it's on a level plane, generally speaking, shooting from that direction to this direction, again, perfect conditions, level plane, yes, there may be some bullet defects on these buildings over here.
And bullets don't just go forever, right?
Correct.
And that's the reason why on New Year, there's many warnings that people don't shoot a gun up in the air, because that bullet that gets shot up, even though they don't intend this, has to come down somewhere.
Correct.
So bullets shot in directions, they have to go somewhere. They don't just disappear.
Correct.
And so that's all I was saying. If somebody is on the south side claiming a suspect shot multiple rounds this way, multiple, not one, multiple rounds, we should see some defects over here.
Possibly.
I want to direct your attention, because I think the government asked you a little bit about where some shells were laid. Hold on one second, Ranger, I'm sorry. Before I move on to the shells where they were laying, but seeing defects on structures behind the example that I gave you would corroborate this individual's, in our examples, claim that they were shot at multiple times on the south side of the building.
If that were a bullet defect that you showed me, yes, that would lend credence to
Not
that.
that one particularly. I'm just saying, if in my example before that, we talked about an individual making the claim that there were multiple shots at them. There should be, if there were defects in the structures behind that person, that would corroborate the person's claim that they were shot at multiple times.
If those defects were present, yes.
Yes, sir. Now, I want to direct your attention now to some pictures the government went over with you yesterday on the placement of some outside shells. And when I say shells, that's the casing, right?
Yes.
So when a gun is fired, if it's a semi-automatic, it has to extract the shell once the bullet is.
Correct.
If I have a revolver, that's not going to happen.
Correct.
And a revolver involves a double action where you pull and it winds it up, and then the hammer comes down and hits the primer, and the bullet will go out.
Correct.
But there's not going to be an extraction of a shell, because it's going to stay in the cylinder.
That's correct.
And in the old days, the
call
Rangers
Dave,
used to
get
carry
him
single
drunk,
sixes,
and have
right,
him
where you
call
have
the
to
court.
pull it back every
I think
time.
we know
and
what a
shoot
casing
the
is.
single.
It's been a few years, but yes.
Well, yes, you don't look that old, trust me. But now a semi-automatic is where someone can pull the trigger repeatedly, and then it will continue to be fed in through the magazine. It's not a clip, it's a magazine, and the bullet will be sent out, and then the casing or the shell will be extracted.
Yes.
And every weapon has a different, well, depending on the manufacturer, a different extracting mechanism.
Yes.
Handguns extract their shells different than maybe a long rifle.
Yes.
And when I mean long rifle, what do we mean when we use the term long rifle?
A long rifle is usually just going to be a larger weapon. It's going to have a stock and a longer barrel on it.
Do we call a deer rifle a long rifle?
Yes.
But we also call an AR-15 or an AK-47 a long rifle as well.
Correct.
And so with a long rifle that's not a bolt action, which is a deer rifle is a bolt action, right?
Correct. Well, some of them are, yes.
Some of them are, right? Some are semi-automatic these days.
Yes.
But when I was hunting younger, it's bolt action where you shoot it and then you pull the bolt up, you enter another shell, another round in there, and then you can fire it.
Yes.
Okay. But an AR-15 is a semi-automatic.
Correct.
And so you can shoot that weapon as fast as you can move your finger.
Correct.
And so when you're doing that, casings are being extracted.
Correct.
May I stand up briefly, Judge?
Yes, sir.
And so there's a difference if one of these officers or yourself is tactically holding the rifle in your armpit, if you're coming into a room versus, and I'm not making light of this at all. I'm just, the only thing I can think of is like a Rambo where you're holding it low, shooting.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm coming in this way, it will, and if I'm in the same position, I'll come up here so the jury can see. If I'm in the same position and I'm shooting, I'm only going low because in my head, I don't even like to pretend to point a weapon at somebody. So if I'm coming down and I'm shooting this way, it's going to extract the shells this way differently than if I was holding it perhaps Rambo style.
Generally speaking, on ejection of those cartridges
Yes, sir.
like that, I think there's a lot of variables that go into that. And I think there have been, my experience in training, there's been a lot of studies saying that, are they going to all be the same? No, they're not going to be the same.
Right. But what I'm saying is if I shoot from here and I do another shooting another round of firing from here, there, because of the distance of where I'm holding the weapon and the angle of where I'm holding the barrel or the muzzle, it's going to extract the casings perhaps in a different location.
Perhaps, but I think that'd be difficult for me to say
Okay.
accurately.
Well, I guess that's another point. It's just difficult for anyone to say accurately where shells are at. We have to look at the totality of the circumstances. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And that's a term of art in law enforcement. Is that a
Yes.
fair statement?
Definitely.
What does the totality of the circumstances mean? Will you explain that to the jury, please?
So totality of the circumstances means that you just have to take everything into consideration. There are going to be a ton of variables in any circumstance, and any of those variables could affect the outcome.
And what happens if we don't take everything into consideration when we're looking at a situation?
You could possibly miss evidence and get it wrong.
Yeah, and that's right. And so the goal is not to get it wrong. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay. And so now I want to direct your attention to State's Exhibit 112. May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
And so this is the west side of Robb Elementary,
Yes.
and then this is the south side of Robb Elementary.
Correct.
Okay. And then we can see there's these AC units here, correct?
Yes.
And so if someone is behind the AC units and somebody was shooting from behind this fort, those AC units would be, depending on how strong they are, either cover or concealment for sure.
It could be, yes.
Will you explain to the jury what the difference is between cover and concealment?
So cover and concealment, it's a term that we use whenever we're talking about basically trying to get out of the way of a bullet. If I had a sheetrock wall between me and someone who's shooting at me, that would be more cover, that would be more concealment rather than cover. Cover is if it were a brick wall, like a cinder block wall, something that a bullet couldn't pass through, that's good cover. A sheetrock wall, that's going to be concealment. I'm hidden, but that bullet can still go through that surface.
So the concealment is you're concealed, so it's harder for me to aim at you. Cover means you're protected.
Correct.
And so if somebody was shooting here, and give me some hypotheticals.
Okay.
Then that person, if there was someone behind these AC units, I would have to stand out. If that shooter would have to stand out over here into the grass to get a different angle and line of sight.
Oh my God, are we getting to the grassy knoll?
The jury what line of sight means.
Line of sight just basically means what you can see.
Right. And and that's one of the so you don't ever shoot at something you can't see if you're trying to safely shoot, correct?
Correct.
And so if there was someone behind these AC units, I would have to move out to the right of them, go further south to get line of sight on somebody on the other side.
That's accurate.
And if I was shooting, now hypothetical, if I was shooting at someone on the other side of those AC units, and I was discharging a semi-automatic, we would see these casings further south. Is that a fair statement?
Not necessarily. Again, there's going to be variables on where the person was standing, how the weapon was held.
Well, that's what I was asking you earlier, right?
Sure.
Okay. So let me make real specific. If I'm trying to shoot someone on the other side of these AC units, we've talked about that. I would need a better line of sight, so I would, in our hypothetical, would move south. Correct?
Correct.
In our hypothetical, if I moved south to shoot, what evidence, if you were trying to prove that I shot at that person, what evidence would you look for of me shooting at that person behind the AC units?
I mean, of course, cartridges, the ejected cartridges are going to tell the general area where someone is.
One step at a time. That's
Okay.
right. So that's my point. If I was further south, you would see ejected cartridges even more south.
Possibly, yes.
Quite possible. I mean, the wind can't, just so they understand, if I'm shooting a semi-automatic and the casings are coming out, even if it was windy, the wind is not going to blow the casings over to my left.
I've been in some crazy winds, but it would have to be
Then you're from West Texas,
it
right?
would have to be a crazy wind.
Right. It'd have to be crazy wind, right?
Yes.
Okay. Crazy wind. Okay. So if I'm shooting over here, then we should see some cartridges to the right of me.
Possibly, yes.
Possibly. That's an answer, because you have to answer that way, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're not being difficult.
I'm not trying
And
to.
I know you're not. And so if these casings are here, then most possibly the shooter was over here to the left, more west.
I'd say that is possible.
Probably more possible.
It's
More
possible.
likely than not. Is that fair? More likely.
I would
than
say
not.
it's more likely that they're over there rather than over there.
Correct. And in your knowledge, there were no casings found further down south.
Not to my knowledge.
Oh,
That was
I want to
interesting.
direct your attention really quickly before I pass you to gunfire echo. You're familiar with gunfire echo, correct?
Yes.
We explained to the jury what gunfire echo is.
Are you talking about in reference to how it comes off of
Hey, Nick,
yes.
can you pause it real quick?
building?
Yes, sir.
Now, the state isn't doing anything about it, but would this be considered beyond the scope of direct? Because they really didn't get in with this witness to the audio distortion.
Beyond the scope doesn't. I don't think it applies until redirect. Then the redirect is the scope of
Okay.
the cross-examination. But that also because now they went in to talk about room 111 and 112, which are the two rooms with the dead kids. So they kind of opened the door.
Okay, no, that I was just trying to figure out because I thought we hadn't really talked about that on direct.
Mm.
See, I am
Yeah,
paying
so-
attention, even
Yeah.
though it looks like I'm goofing off.
Yeah, same here. Same here. We are listening, but I mean, sometimes it's not much to add.
No,
Mm. All right.
Depending on how many buildings are around or your particular surroundings, it's just an echo. It's just like if you yell, there's going to be an echo. If there's gunfire, there's going to be an echo for that as well.
And may I approach, Judge?
Yes, sir.
And we can see around Robb Elementary, there are buildings, including Robb Elementary, that could have had this gunfire echo. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
So if somebody is shooting on the west side of Robb Elementary, which we know happened, that most likely, possibly, would create gunfire echoes.
It could.
And do you know now in your investigation that there were 3 officers over here on the corner of Grove and Geraldine?
I'm not familiar with that.
If there were, in a hypothetical as an expert, and they claimed they were being shot at, we should see some evidence of them being shot at. Is that a fair statement?
Possibly if the bullets struck something.
Right. So if they're being shot at, there should be possible evidence of things being struck.
Possibly. Yes.
But even if they weren't being shot at, it's reasonable. They could have thought they were being shot at because of the echo.
I guess that's a possibility.
Possible. If somebody's on the south side of the building, in our earlier example, and let's say we don't see evidence that they were being shot at multiple times, it's possible they thought they were being shot at if somebody was shooting on the west side of the building.
That's possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ranger. Oh, hold on. I'm not going to pass you yet. Hold on. But in general, echo can distort location of a shooter.
It can.
Thank you, sir. Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, recross. Redirect. Let's see how this goes.
From this exhibit, you were talking about line of fire. You recall that testimony?
The
Or
line of sight? Yes.
Okay. From the foreground or the bottom of this photograph, exhibit 112, is, do you see the two white police cars?
Yes.
And would you point those out? Here's your marker still there.
Your Honor, can I approach the screen?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be one right here, going to be one right here.
And is there a building behind that first
Yes.
vehicle that you pointed to?
Building right here behind this patrol car.
Is that in a line of sight?
Yes.
And to the right of that, been described.
In line of sight of what? Of you? Of the card? Of the casings? In line of sight of what?
Is this prosecutor not a firearms user? Because there's several terms that he's kind of flubbed, and it seems like he's like that boomstick thing.
Yeah, I mean, when the defense went in the line of sight, they are okay. You have a mark of something being shot at. Here's line of sight is if you look that way. Yeah, but unless you point your gun there, it's not in line of.
Well, not to mention Adrian's line of sight. If he was on the ground or lower to the ground checking on the woman, his line of sight's going to be obstructed possibly by his car.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a playground.
Over here?
Yes. Is that in the line of sight?
From this area?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you're holding a gun could be shot down that line of sight into the playground, into that building, or in the direction of where those two white police cars were.
Yes.
Thank you. That's the witness.
And in your investigation, you can stay right there, yes, sir. In your investigation, you had not heard of you did not see yourself or collect any evidence of gunfire at the playground or at the pavilion.
Correct, I did not.
So there are no defects in the playground, there's no defects in the pavilion, correct?
I don't know. I did not examine those. I didn't collect any evidence over there, but I didn't go over there to look.
But you've not even heard of any evidence being collected over there?
I have not.
Thank you, Ranger. Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Turner, what else?
Okay. I would assume that I assume that the prosecution would go more into room 111 and 112. But they didn't.
Well, I'm wondering because this investigation, and maybe it was because it was such a large building, but it's been very piecemeal. Like you would think you would have, if you had one person on trajectory, you would have him and then assistants to help him document, but to keep it all with one person, so you have one person judging things instead of, oh, I worked this room and I worked this thing. It seems disorganized.
At least have somebody who was organizing all the things. Because you can't have, let's have FBI examining those rooms, let's have the Rangers examining the outside, and let's have the local PD checking something else. Yeah, this feels shoddy. Now, his investigation, because he investigated what he was told to investigate.
Yeah.
So nothing against this guy.
No.
But the people giving the orders. Seriously, what's going on here?
It just doesn't seem like anyone was coordinating an overall, plan. It feels like, oh, Cletus is in charge today. You go do this. I mean, they had two different Rangers look at the truck. They didn't tow the truck. They're just like, oh, we'll just leave it out here because it's late.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Bob John can't do everything here. I mean...
No further questions, Judge.
Okay.
See, subject to recall, either side.
Not by us.
No, Judge.
Okay, Ranger, you are excused. The rule has been invoked, so please don't discuss the case until you're aware it's over.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Your next one's
Ranger Taurus.
Okay. I would assume the prosecution has done this alternating, so now we might hear some heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
So just be prepared, folks.
This is the main packet of photographs. I don't know if you want to hear this.
Okay. Why are they lowering the sound? This discussion is often the most interesting thing that
Yeah.
happens in this trial. So I'm a bit bummed out over the
Yeah.
production choosing to
15
mute
minutes,
this.
I'm going to ask the defense to start looking at those right now. Would everyone rise for the jury, please? Let's go ahead and swear you in, if you would. You solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony to give in this
Oh.
cause will be the truth, so help you God.
Are they doing a hearing?
They're going to let them look at all the photographs, and then we'll get you on the stand in a few minutes, all right? Thank you. You're welcome to sit there or sit out in the gallery.
So a couple hundred photos. Is this going to be the ranger that then went to 111, 112?
For the love of... Seriously, they are having a hearing and we're not...
Or maybe they're going to come back to a
Yeah.
hearing
Yeah,
because I think the defense hasn't gone through these, or maybe he's letting the defense look through them again to see if there's
Yeah.
anything objectionable.
Yeah. Okay. We are up to live. This is yeah. So we caught up 9 minutes. So we don't have that long. That's the beauty of commentary channel. We talk sometimes. Now, usually at this point in time, we are about an hour behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because something stupid had happened in a trial. Now, this is not that type of trial that we
No.
usually, but where we actually can have fun about or make fun of
Yeah.
stupid cop, bad prosecutor, Bill Cosby. So
Here, the problem I see with the state is if there is something that they really think proves that Adrian was there, it's going to
Yeah.
get lost in this is a defect from here, because as a juror, I would be writing everything down. They haven't given them a clear, like, these are the breadcrumbs we're leading you. They haven't edited their case at all
no,
to make it Adrian specific, because they're expecting the jury to take in everything and then for them to pull out the pieces and make the case work.
yeah, it's really,
It's
really
spaghetti
strange.
against the wall.
Yeah,
Well, it's a choose your own conviction puzzle. Basically, they don't have anything conclusive, but if they can throw enough, you can build your own conviction.
yeah. It's really, really, and folks, a reminder here: this is about 19 murdered children, 10 or more injured, 2 dead teachers, and they are choosing to have this guy, Adrian Rodriguez, charged with what happened from when he stopped the car to the shooter entering the building. It's a 2-minute gap where they claim in those 2 minutes he should have assessed and run towards the danger, and I guess taking him out is the...
But imagine all the resources that have gone into getting all this done. What if that went into better training? You
Yeah.
know, when teachers, hey, see something, say something. You know, our administration, hey, we want to beef up security. These are our plans. Community input.
Yeah. A school resource officer inside that building actually checking each morning, the janitor, whoever, go around to each door and check, are these tampered with? Or at least once a week.
Well, and what is the school has to, the district at least has to have some liability. They were aware it was a culture of lax security in that school.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the school district isn't being held accountable. I mean,
Yeah.
and
That, yeah.
that's the thing. We can hold a lot of people accountable and not have a show trial. We don't
Yeah.
have to parade these victims up, these survivors up, whichever they'd like to be called, to relive their trauma.
Yeah. Now, we can all agree that Mr. Gonzales, yes, we all think he should have done much, much better. I'm not so sure what he did was criminal neglect. It feels like this, hey, let's parade dead kids in front of a worldwide audience in order, we look at our high morals.
Well, it's like, look, we're doing something. We did the something.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's better. We didn't
Yeah.
fix anything.
Yeah, it's, hey, I did something, please re-elect me.
That's what it's very much beginning to feel like. And I felt like that when the prosecutor cried in opening. It felt like a political stump speech.
Yeah, the more I think back on that, the more cringe it gets.
It was very evangelical. And what I mean is you had the theatrical voice, the, condemnation, the hell and brimstone, the, righteous judgment.
Yeah,
But it was very lacking in facts.
yeah. Gigi says he may have never been in a shootout before. True. We don't know how we react until we get into such a situation. Now, this Mr. Rodriguez, he has been a cop for quite some time. But again, has he ever been in a gunfight? Has he ever been where he have to draw his weapon? I don't know.
Well, and it's not as easy as the prosecution is making it sound. I mean, we are currently at a danger point in our country because an officer made the choice to pull the trigger. Rightly or wrongly is being debated. But not only would Mr. Gonzales have to think about hitting the assailant, there are things in the back of that. There are buildings, there are other children. He can't just, do I feel lucky? Okay. No, he has to assess if there's things behind him as well.
Which is probably why, because a few seconds after Rodriguez came there were 3 other officers who saw the shooter about to enter. One of them asked, should I take the shot? And before the answer came back, the guy was already inside the school. Why do he has to ask for that permission? Because a superior has to tell him, yes, it is okay, because what if that wasn't the shooter? All they see is somebody 50 yards away, 100 yards away, I don't know, about to enter the school. Should I take the shot and risk shooting whoever is inside the school?
Yeah, because if it goes off...
If they miss, and there's 2 kids right there, that's why you have to have that confirmation.
Well, it happened in the UK. There was a synagogue. There was someone trying to get into it. The tactical officers And unfortunately, one of the bullets ricocheted and got someone in the synagogue. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Tree 90 of how I take notes to pay attention.
And really a cat man. Yeah, welcome to YouTube AI. Sometimes the YouTube AI decides to, hey, you know what? I'm going, this, what you wrote. For instance, let's see if I have it here. No, I don't have. Yeah, here. I wrote, an Aussie lawyer looks like a giant turtle boy. And under it says, YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. It's my fucking channel! And its AI said, no, this, an Aussie lawyer looks like a giant turtle boy.
Oh, UK actually looked it up. He's actually from the UK, so I mislabeled
Oh, he is
him.
from the UK. Okay.
Yeah, he used to be with the Metropolitan Police Department, which isn't as much of a credit as it used to be.
This is why I also stream on Rumble and X, and hopefully before I retire in a decade, Rumble will actually generate some revenue.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So if you have a Rumble account, I don't mind. Go look for me. Over there, I am Big Nick Starov. And that is thanks to Catnot Williams, because there's a lot of Nicks around. And so, no, that's not that Nick. It's not that Nick either. It's Big Nick. Yeah, Nick is mad that YouTube censored me on my own fucking channel.
Yeah, the teachers have been very careful not to implicate the district being responsible for the distribution of magnets. At this point, it's like the magnets were, I don't know, smuggled in through a prison wallet or something. The judge is calling his agent.
Kevin!
Kevin! When are we redoing Home Alone?
I want to be in Home Alone 3. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
No, grown-up Home Alone. Like, do you understand? Except it's reversed. The mom stays home and the dad takes the kids out, and you just see the mom being quiet. It's a really boring show, but
yeah,
I'd love it.
And the moment she discovered she's left behind, a big smile.
Yeah, the husband's desperately trying to call. She drops her phone, turns it
Oh no! In the toilet.
Yeah.
Darn it! I can't call them to warn I'm not there, and husband have to take all 7 kids
to Disney World. See, Mr. Mo would know it's a setup because Disney World is like the 8th level of hell for me. So if I willingly said we were going, he'd already know it's a setup.
Yeah. What's your lunch? I should. And the judge smiled while he was talking.
He wasn't having to interact with any of these lawyers.
Yeah.
I will say the defense team has been very good, because I wondered how they were going to have to deal with these more emotional witnesses.
Yeah. And especially the second witness, who was who was so riled up by the prosecution, she shook on the stand. She sat there shaking. And it took the defense 2 minutes, and she started to calm down. is
And you would think in a complex case like this, where you have a lot of information, you would think you would make it easy for the jury to process. None of
Yeah.
what the state has done has been, I mean, because you have to think as a prosecutor, or I would think you would think about, okay, I'm already asking these people to look at these horrific, photos. I'm asking them to go through some pretty emotional stuff. Shouldn't we streamline this as much as we can? I mean, they've got like
Yeah.
18,000 lawyers. Couldn't anyone edit?
Yeah. Now, just a precaution. What we see, what we hear, may not be what from the jury's perspective. So just because we see the flaws in the prosecution is no guarantee. Because remember, these are locals.
Yeah.
They might have a completely different point of view than we have.
Yeah. And, I feel terrible for the families because this is what they're getting, this first, action toward any sort of resolution for their pain and suffering is
Yeah.
this. This is the effort they're getting, and it pisses me off.
Yeah. They deserve, the victims and the victims' families deserve better than this.
They really do. And,
Oh,
and
did
that's
they
where,
move? Did they move the trial out of county? Yeah, but in Texas, even if they move to a neighboring county, it's still locals, more or less, just a county away. I have to check here.
and Lady Lawyer is, well, proving the trend that female attorneys do not own brushes, or at least forget to brush the back part of their hair.
Okay, they are in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Tree 90 of Fish Owl.
Okay, the two cities, Uvalde and Corpus Christi, is about 4 hours in between. So okay, but I bet it's Texas. It's 4 hours. For 4 hours drive in Texas is, 2 years ago, I went to the States, and I started in Houston. I drove to New Orleans. It took me 2 hours just to leave Houston. So 4 hours between two cities in Texas, really not that far away. And this is the Uvalde school shooting. Even 4 hours away, yeah, that's still close enough.
And as far as the notes for the jury, I did hear something about them not being able to use them in deliberation, but I thought that was in conjunction with, like, you can write down exhibit numbers, but they might not be the right one. We have a master list of exhibits, but I could be interpreting that wrong. They may not. I know I do it so I don't flap my mouth, constantly during trials.
Yeah. No, they are not. They are allowed to keep notes for themselves. They can't use it in deliberations because if their memories doesn't align, they can't rely on the notes because the notes only the official transcript is evidence. So they have to ask for it. So that is what the reasoning behind not bringing back the notes to deliberation.
Maybe we're getting into more ballistics.
Oh God, no.
I can't handle that. I'm going to start day drinking.
Yeah. It's a bit. Well, it's not early for me, but
It's before noon for me, so as much as I joke, probably not. And I'm a lightweight. I get half a wine cooler. Be like, let's blow this off. Watch cop videos.
oh, they don't get a copy of the official transcript. What they get is if they have a discrepancy between themselves about what was said or shown, they have to send a question to the judge. We need to look at this piece of evidence and this piece of testimony. Then the judge will tell the court reporter to isolate that part and then get transcript from it,
Yeah,
or
but
the piece of evidence.
a lot of times when the problem with the jury is that they have to ask the right question the right way, because there are procedures, there are things that they can see, but they have to ask for them correctly. But the judge can't tell them, no, ask it this way. So it's kind of like trying to write your order down in Mandarin to someone who only speaks Portuguese. Or anyone that understands math.
Yeah, that too. It's Friday afternoon. Why do I get text from work? I could tell them to fuck off, but I think that would be quite rude.
Yeah.
My arms are getting too short.
I feel that because with this recliner, I have like a standing sit down desk, but I do have to like lean forward. So it's, I keep meaning to get a lighter mobile keyboard, but it's just one of those days and one of those things I never think about.
Let's see. Dun, dun, dun.
I wonder if the state might, I mean, now if the state used logic, they might stick with ballistics on a Friday, because I would think, well, never mind. They're wanting to break the jury's heart, so they're going to eviscerate us through the soul. And okay, serious question, Nick. Is there a point at which the jury can say this is too much?
Well, technically, yes. But then that juror would be excused.
Well, what if they, as a group, came together? So it wouldn't be just one person. What if collectively we're 2 weeks into this and the state hasn't made a point? Is there any way that the jury can say, why the hell are we here? Judge, they have yet to get to one effing point, and all we've seen is horrible stuff.
They aren't allowed to start figuring it out until all the evidence. So the judge will tell them, you have to wait and see. You don't have the case yet. They are not given the case to deliberate until everything is done. But yeah, technically, but as if they got together as a group, that would be a mistrial.
Yeah, fair point. I just
Yeah, I know. But I agree. This is
because, well, here's the problem. Our legal system is built on logic, on laws. The humanity that's injected into our system is supposed to come from the jury. So this use of emotions and stuff, yes, our legal system is supposed to be about compassion and justice and all of that, but that's supposed to come from the jury of your peers.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be the people that say, here's the crime, we can prove he did it, here's the elements. They're not supposed to be sad picture, sad picture, sad picture. And we've seen it done well. That's what's really frustrating. We've seen it done well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a bunch of trials where these kind of things with extremely sensitive information is handled with respect. But usually that is with the defendant is actually the killer.
Well, yeah. It just is, very,
Mm.
it's very crass the way they're using the children.
Mm. Yeah. 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 Yes, this chat is good. Yes, it is. I agree with this statement as well. Lawn and Cream's chat is. I mean, and there are channels out there that are simply for, hey, you want blood? We'll give you blood. And
Yeah. And I'm perfectly honest that I'm a twice college dropout and I'm just a nerd that likes to watch trials. So I do try to send people to like real legal people like Nick when they want to, I'm very honest that I don't know a whole lot about a whole lot. And what I do know a whole lot about, no one really pays for. So
yeah, sometimes when I rarely do the deep dive legal analysis while trial is going. I would try to do that separate streams or a separate video with a really, really specific point of view, which I get very few views on. But then at streams, yes, if I get a specific question, I will try to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I will try to look it up. If I can't find it out immediately, I will note it and get back to it the day after or in a separate video that nobody watches. But yeah, so you get the legal analysis, you get the snark, you get the cursing. This trial, a little less of it. Usually,
yeah.
in trials which really needs to be snarked out on, even though it gets decent views, it gets demonetized by YouTube because apparently more than 50 fucks per minute is excessive.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
Now, it will be interesting to see in the years to come if there are large civil lawsuits.
Yeah.
And how those are taken care of, because I think it is very evident that the ball was dropped by multiple entities in this situation.
Yeah. This 15-minute break is getting a bit long.
Well, and I think trials like this really are going to be a big thing and be really a big kind of thing that legislators are really going to have to kind of iron out. What is the tangential liability of someone? I mean, are the parents now tangentially liable for their child should they become a monster? We seem to be moving that way. So are we going to attach that tangential liability to schools? Because in the Crumbly case, the school dropped the ball too, but they don't seem to be getting sued. At least that I know of.
Yeah.
And I don't want these things to turn into legal fest of everyone suing everyone else. But I think statutes need to be ironed out, and this needs to be ironed out because it seems like we are moving to a more spread out kind of guilt when things like this happened.
I mean, politicians wants to be reelected, so there's DAs and judges and everything. And so when the community says somebody has to do something, look, I did something, but that doesn't necessarily say it's right. I mean, the Crumblies, yeah, neglectful. They should have done more, but at the same time, their kid is tried as an adult. What's it going to be?
Yeah, and
Yes,
and
I
then
know that adult is for sentencing purposes, but still, if you treat the perpetrator as an adult, that should disqualify the parents from being charged.
well, and
Because
how far down are we going to take this?
yeah,
I mean, because we're starting, that the government never retreats from your life. It always, so how far are we going to let the government co-parent with us?
yeah. How much are you prepared to give to the government?
I mean, are we going to come to a point where you need child insurance in case your children do something? Are there going to become firms for child liability? Where are we going with this? I think is kind of important to look at too, because I agree that what we've been currently doing doesn't seem to be stopping these instances. So I'm willing to, listen to stuff up to a point, but it seems like no one's really making suggestions other than give up all your pew-pews or give everyone pew-pews.
Yeah, I don't have a solution. I'm just here from the other side of the Atlantic trying to make the unbearable tolerable.
I think it will be interesting if any of the families are willing to talk at the end of this trial to see how they feel
Yeah.
this was done. Because I would be ticked off if I were a parent. But then conversely, you might feel like, finally, what happened to my children is getting out. The world is understanding the horror that, unless you have really dug into this case, you might not be aware of.
Seems like they have a lot to discuss in court. And I'm a bit annoyed because what's going on now is probably the most interesting part. How to evaluate the evidence the prosecution wants to bring in.
Unless they're putting up the photos and actually saying,
yeah.
no, this is on the projector. This is not going to, maybe the judge is being, because, maybe the state is saying, in order to prove that these things happened, we have to show them. And the defense is like, we don't need to show this.
Yeah. Yeah, it could.
And I mean, how was this? Wasn't this assailant? Wasn't the shooter, on welfare? How did he afford all of this ammo? Around this time is when ammo was extremely hard to find in America. It was going for way more than it was, generally sold for because it was in such low stock.
Yeah. I don't know that much about the case in itself.
Yeah, and the cops in the hallway is just infuriating. I could only watch it once through and then This happened in 2022 May, I believe the 23rd.
Yeah, 2022. I'm not entirely sure about the date.
And yeah, Nick's
Wh-
right.
What? We are not pro-police. We are pro-justice. Have you missed when we have been reaming the cops out?
Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, I think if you'll stay here for a while, you'll see that we tend to call balls and strikes.
Yeah.
I have said that the monster who did this is dead, and we're left with dumbasses and cowards. Now, I don't know how that's pro-police, but I don't classify all these a-holes who are sitting in the hallway as police.
Yeah. Okay, that caught me off guard. There's nobody here pro Uvalde PD, in my opinion.
No,
Yeah, that caught me off guard. I've never been called pro state before.
I feel like I should get my little Soviet hat on. Comrades, join me for the motherland. I think that was a little bit. Look, I can't do a Russian accent.
I won't do a Russian accent because they might be listening.
Fair point. You are closer to them than I am.
Listen to me, comrades. Everything is good. Everything is good, and I'm absolutely not speaking into the bug.
Well, and let's rewind. Let's say that Adrian Gonzales got on the scene and took shots at the shooter, and unfortunately struck several children because maybe he was running and trying to shoot. Then we would be just as mad at Adrian Gonzales for having, done this while he was running and not thinking about the background, what other things might be behind, the penetration of his bullets, things like that.
Oh, you said penetration.
Yeah, well, it is a Friday stream.
Yeah.
And I have my possum. I'm doing a possum bit. Legitimately, I'm afraid of real possums, but for some reason, you play a couple possum videos of a crazy person with possums on the internet, and people.
Okay, I get from Rumble here from Texas 47. The shooter bought his $80,000 truck and $5,000 firearms working for a cartel smuggling people across the border. That was news for me. That was absolutely news for me.
Yeah, I wonder how many of the bailouts near the school he was responsible for.
Yeah, testing the grounds. That person definitely missed commentary of law enforcement during the YSL trial. Yeah, and you will get a new chance because 5 p.m. today, it's Slightly Buzzed Friday Law Show, 5 p.m. Eastern. There's a court ruling now that Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, is getting all his stuff back. Problem is, the DA's office might not have all his stuff. So that will be really interesting. So we're going to go through the court decision and then make fun of Atlanta police, investigators, gang experts, specifically Marissa Viverito,
And
who was the last known person to be seen with a Richard Mille watch worth in excess of $350,000, who magically disappeared, and sometime later, she was seen with a new pair of boobs.
And just to clarify, I know possums are great. I know they do a lot. I know they save us from Lyme disease. I'm just saying, when you go out at night to try to feed your outside cat and you're on your porch, you see with demon eyes, you forget that they do the Lord's work eating all the ticks because you have learned to levitate for a couple seconds and gravity hates you.
Yeah, and for gravity affects everybody. After 50, the bulge is mostly balls. Just saying.
Yeah. So it's more that
The market for picking up those things are very, very small, by the way. To my knowledge, I have never seen an ad for testicle.
Oh,
And,
actually, they are selling underwear that enhances the bulge. I did a Mornings with Mo on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know about those things, but not surgically.
Yeah, I wonder what you would call a scrotal lift.
Exactly that. A scrotum lift.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
have my
market for that
medical
seems-
license, but I could see me selling this.
Folks, you have a new challenge. Make a text ad with appropriate picture, for scrotum lift.
A sacoplasty. I like a sacoplasty.
Sacoplasty. Oh. There are people out there already getting scrotal lifts. Yeah, I'm sure there are. I mean,
I mean,
The-
I still
there
don't
are
get it, but
enlargement surgeries, but all they do is that. How do I explain this without? Well, a certain part of your nether regions are, of course, inside the body to get the lift, so to speak. So what they do is they cut a circular and then bring it out a bit. Problem is, if you don't have that part inside, the lift gets.
I've gotten away, Johnny. I'm giving her all she's got. All I imagine is like the Star Trek, like Bones, don't fail me now. Okay, Nick, the problem is I can't shut these thoughts off. So
Yeah.
Mr. Mo gets to experience what I like to call married time ADD, where I just start hysterically laughing and he's like, don't tell me what you're thinking about until we're done, because you're gonna he's known me long enough to kind of ignore it.
I wonder if you can combine those two things. I mean, sockoplasty and
And an ADHD cure. Forget Adderall.
oh. Yeah, we know that you have asked for a penile reduction. Or the standard joke, not standard. How would I make my peen 6 inches? I will fold it in half. Yeah, it's stupid. I know.
Did you see the lawsuit where a former NFL player is suing his ex-wife because she compared his schmeckle to 3 Coke cans stacked on top of each other?
Oh,
And
and he's
apparently,
suing?
yeah, apparently it caused him great embarrassment because she did it on a podcast. So now people are sending his mom and like his sister,
Oh, yeah.
like gross pics of what his, I guess, estimations of what his schmeckle looked like. I do not know. The internet is sometimes a glorious place, but you have to know where to draw the line on the madness.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can have fun about it here, show pictures of stupid stuff here. Don't contact families.
No.
That's just wrong. And that goes to families of victims, families of prosecutors, lawyers, judges. Don't contact families. Please
Yeah,
don't.
and don't contact judges if you are not a party to the case. Look, this is heartbreaking. I understand it. You know, if the guy were still alive, the monster, would I want him to go to jail for a gajillion years? Yeah, but I'm not going to write a letter to the judge because he's not going to look at it. He's not going to use it in his sentencing. It's just going to clog up the court.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's really...
Well, we saw it in Shanda Vander Ark with her son, where people were writing in, I saw this on court TV, and it looks like he has autism, blah, blah, blah. And the judge said, I'm not taking any of those into my sentencing account.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much stupid things going around. I mean, you have the hidden true crime and those bastards who actively seek out victims and victims' families and then make fun of them behind their backs. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck HTC. All the way to hell.
I would never contact any...
Yeah, that doesn't mean you need to contact them. You can just sit, nod, agree, maybe do a retweet or something of the sort, or write something funny, but don't contact them because they will probably sue you because they are so thin-skinned. This is a very long 15-minute break.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's pictures that the state was trying to get in that maybe they didn't disclose, because at this point, I wouldn't put it past the state.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
And this is the part that really bothers me. It's the casual disrespect. If this was truly for you, a case that very much touched you, that very much motivated you to do the best job ever to seek justice in a way you see fit for these children, you've done a hell of a 10% of a half-assed job. It is windy as heck out here. The gusts are up to like 60 miles per hour today.
Yeah, this is generally the state of Sweden at the moment. It's windy. All of this is wind, ocean. And here's the thing: where I live is very flat. It's extremely flat, so I get all the wind. So far, it hasn't been picked up by the microphone, but I have windows shaking over here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, does the construction have to be different because you get all those winds?
Let's see here. Yep. Let's see here. I have currently 40-mile-an-hour wind with gusts more. So it's wind. I mean, it's not hurricane, but it's windy and it just blum, blum, blum. And on Sunday, it's going to be in Fahrenheit -15. Yeah, we have a huge cold front coming down on Scandinavia. And up north, where my sister is, it's going to be colder. She's so happy.
Can you imagine being an Uber Eats driver in that?
Yeah, let's plow through a yard of snow here on my bicycle. And Mm. You have a snowmobile drive-throughs now.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, up north, it's quite common to take the snowmobile to the drive-throughs that winter. I rarely need that down here. But I mean, it's still snow out, and it's getting cold as very cold. And
Yeah.
it's about a foot of snow down here where I am.
We're currently trying to figure out what season we're in. So
Mm.
once we figure that out, I'll let you know.
40 mile per hour wind could flip my truck. Yeah. But the gust is probably above that. Trollhättan, is that like Manhattan? No. It's a suburb to Gothenburg.
Ladies and gentlemen who are in the gallery, we're very sensitive to the nature of this case, the emotional nature, the tragic nature of it. I'm going to forewarn you, these photographs are going to be
Oh boy.
shocking and gruesome. And if anybody wants to step out, you are welcome to step out. But we cannot have any displays in front of the jury. So I'm forewarning you, these are not going to be pleasant to look at. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to look at them just like I had to. But if you want to step out, you are welcome to. All right, so let's proceed. Bring the jury in.
So they were allowed after all to show these pictures. Okay. I don't know why, because he's not charged with that.
No.
And this is only for shock value.
Well, and they stipulated to this. The defense stipulated to all the events that happened that day, basically, that the shooter did. Why do we need to do this?
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing. The court TV or the pooled camera crew, so to speak, will probably not show it to us. But you never know. There might be mistakes.
Yeah. So
Be forewarned. Be very, very forewarned. Because if that happens, this will happen. And we have to describe what's going on in court.
yeah.
Or I have to, because I see it on the small screen down here. Just so you know.
Yeah. There have been times where court TV wasn't quick enough, so we just have to pop off because YouTube and we don't want to show anything. We understand. Look, I always try to think, if a victim were to come across my stream, I wouldn't put anything up there that would be exploitative, I would think.
Yeah. Now with the Jodi Arias mistake, that was just fun. For those who don't know, Jodi Arias, about what it is now, 15, 20 years ago, the video crew was supposed to take away the video and keep the sound. They did the other way around and muted it and showed all of Jodi Arias, front, back. I can see my house from here angle. Yeah, all of her. And that is, I believe that is episode 8 of my Jodi Arias trial stream. All right. Mm.
Okay, please be seated in the courtroom. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for your patience. Again, there are certain matters that have to be taken up outside your presence, and we appreciate you understanding that. Please don't hold it against either side. So with that, this witness has been sworn outside your presence, so you may proceed when you're ready.
Would you state your name, please?
Juan Torres.
And Mr. Torres, what do you do for a living?
I am retired. Currently, I work for the State Department, and I work in Honduras right now.
You work for the State Department in Honduras.
Yes.
And when did you retire?
I retired in April of 2024.
What did you do before you retired?
I was, my last 11 years, I was a Texas Ranger.
And before you were a Texas Ranger, what did you do?
Well, in 1995, I started the academy. I was a state trooper for 8 years. I then went to become a Highway Patrol sergeant in El Paso for 5 years.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What was that?
I was a Highway Patrol sergeant
Highway Patrol.
in El Paso for 5 years. I worked narcotics for about 5 years, and then I finished my career as a Texas Ranger the last 11 years.
Okay. And what did you do as a Texas Ranger? Did you have specific assignments?
I was a Leica 3D scanner. I was a firearms instructor. I attended the National Forensics Academy in Tennessee for 10 weeks in 2016. I was a crime scene instructor as well.
And so as a result of that, did you also work crime scenes?
I worked many crime scenes. Yes.
And have you worked mass shooting crime scenes?
I've worked 4 mass shooting crime scenes.
And what 4 were those?
Sutherland Springs in 2016, the Walmart shooting in El Paso in 2019, the Odessa mass shooting in 2019, and Uvalde.
Those are the 4 that you've worked.
Yes.
So mass shootings have become part of law enforcement. Is that correct?
I'm just going to object to any mention of any other shootings or anything like that, and continuing on this line of questioning.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Go ahead.
And you did work the Uvalde
Yes, I did.
crime scene, is that correct?
Yes.
And when did you arrive?
I arrived on the 24th around 11 o'clock at night. And then the 25th, a little after 7 in the morning, is when we had our briefing and started working.
And during the briefing, did you get an assignment?
I was assigned to be the photographer
And the photographer where?
for room 111.
Did the crime scene units break up into different teams?
Yes, so like I know 112 had a different team, the hallway had a different team. Once I got assigned to room 111, I stayed there and I basically just stayed in my lane.
Okay, so basically you were in room 111.
Yes.
And would you give us a general description of room 111?
When we got there, the room was in disarray. There was some markings in the room. There was a lot of shell casings. There was a lot of blood swipes, and the weapon was in the closet.
Okay, it seems like what they are going to show is not the children, but how the crime scene looked after the children was gone from there. But it will still be,
Distressing.
yeah.
Okay. And did you photograph the weapon of the gunman?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And as to the cartridge casings, did you photograph the cartridge casings?
Yes, I did.
And so shots were being fired inside room 111?
Yes, there was.
And were there results of those shots in the room also?
Yes.
And are casings implanted within that blood?
Yes.
So some of the photographs we see of casings, that's where you saw them,
Yes.
and that's where you picked them up.
Yes.
As part of a crime scene, do you also document then the pathways, if you can, of the bullet?
Yes.
And did you do that?
I assisted with that part.
You took photographs of that too?
Yes.
And does that include those rods showing the directionality?
Yes, they are.
In addition to casings, was there anything, casings and a weapon, was there any other part of a weapon that you recovered there in room 111?
There was bullet fragments, bullets, unspent cartridge cases, and a Hellfire that's attached to the weapon.
The Hellfire trigger system?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit. What kind of weapon was it?
It was a down defense M4.
And are you familiar with that weapon?
It's the same weapon that the department carries.
The department carries the same weapon?
Yes.
And is it an automatic, semi-automatic, or is it a revolver type weapon that maintains the casings?
It's a semi-automatic.
And so when it is fired, does it eject casings?
Yes, it does.
And is that what you were recovering out there?
Yes, we were.
And how is the ammunition fed into the weapon?
Through a magazine.
Did you recover magazines at the scene?
Yes, we did.
And were they full or empty?
Some were full, some were empty, some were damaged.
Okay. And what was the size of the magazines? How much would they hold?
I believe they hold 30 rounds
Each
one.
And have you had a chance to review exhibits 317 through 486 before coming here today?
Yes.
And are each of those exhibits fair and accurate representations of the crime scene as you saw it?
Yes, they are.
And is it fair to say that because they're casings, they're in blood also? Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
May we display it now, Your Honor? Those exhibits to the jury.
Yeah, Your Honor, I have something I'd like to approach on with that.
Okay.
Muted.
Because someone is trying to speak for me.
Ah. Oh yeah, the Biden cat who likes to sniff hair. So that was sidebar counter number 5. Yeah, I keep count of the sidebars in trials. I'm doing it for a while, and the record is, I don't remember the actual number. It's over 300 sidebars in the YSL trial. But I do believe the most in one day is not from the YSL trial. It was not that long ago. Let's see here.
Yeah, was it? Because I remember Karen Reed, I thought, had the.
Yeah, they had a bunch of sidebars.
Well, I'm also having to keep Thor away from the printer with whom he wants to carry out a deeply sensual affair, and the printer is not a fan.
No, it's a printer. Of course, it's not a fan. The printer is really bad at blowing wind.
Yeah. Well, don't speak ill of Thor's love. He's gonna go Will Smith. You keep that Epson out your mouth.
And if Thor wants to have this connection with a fan, it might be a female cat. Oh.
Thor is in a semi-committed relationship with Loki, who is not biologically his brother, but it is hysterical that the cat Thor and Loki love each other. And they're sort of in a throuple with Dingus. Yes, you are not a baby.
Your cat wants to snuggle your armpit.
He wants to be held like a baby.
Oh. Yeah, not Mr. Jingles. I try to hold and cuddle, but then he goes away, and then he boops with claws out once fell asleep, you know, like we guys sometimes do, and he bit my armpit.
Cats, they're cute. You get them, and then you realize you just bought your boss.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
I'm
not a
an
real
au-
possum.
I'm
Here, dingus.
I'm an automatic feeding station for Mr. Jingles. Fetch. No.
Well, he was trying to get under my computer to get one of the possum babies, which is a sentence that I'm sure everyone says. They're not real possums. No real possums. These are stuffed. And they were never not stuffed.
Okay, look at that. No graphic images. Judge's orders. Okay.
And I think
Good
that's
choice.
appropriate. Because I
You should-
remember being very, very, very grossed out when some of the pictures from the Delphi crime scene came out. I was horrified that anyone would think that those would be appropriate to release.
Yeah. And one of the first trials, was it the Letitia Stout trial they actually showed by mistake or just ignorance or incompetence? They showed autopsy photos.
They did show. And then I think there were some true crime that FOIA'd, like the autopsy report, and were showing those. That was gross.
Yeah.
I
remember. I don't remember who it was, but they put it behind a paywall and had people pay to watch the autopsy photos. And I'm like, you are really sick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't try to judge people because I don't tend to want to, I've done pretty stupid things too, so I try not to judge people, but that says a lot about your character.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind these rulings. I'm sad it's needed to have a judge ruling for these production companies to avoid showing autopsy photos and gruesome photos.
Well, I'm shocked that, and I think that court TV and Long Crime need to be very careful with upcoming trials, especially the Charlie Kirk, how much they focus on the defendant.
Yeah.
Because that defense is looking for any reason to get those cameras out.
Yeah. Oh. And folks, even if they don't show the pictures, the description of them will be disturbing. And it's no shame in taking a break, because this will probably go until lunch. For some odd reason, this is what they want to show just before lunch. So if you want, skipping to afternoon, join most stream this afternoon.
It should be room 111.
And would you point that out again so that we can all see that? So would that be on the east side of the fourth grade wing?
Yes, it would.
And so the west side of the fourth grade wing,
Yes.
if there's been testimony of people being evacuated from the west side of that wing, that would be on the opposite side of room 111,
Yes, it would.
where you found this room with all of the cartridges in the blood. Is that
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And Stacy did it 318. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is the outside of the east boom. And
So it's starting to show us the outside of the east wing. And is there a white patrol car in that photograph?
yes, there is.
Would you point that out for us? And State's Exhibit 319, does that move down to east wing?
Your Honor, I'd just like to, I mean, you pointed out a white patrol car, that was not my client's, it's Donald Page's, and he didn't. I think that has a tendency to make them believe, make the jury believe that it's my client. I think he should explain that patrol car.
It will be explained in full, Your Honor.
Okay.
That was one of the-
I'll overrule the objection at this time. You can proceed.
And State's Exhibit 319,
Yes.
excuse me, would you go back to 319? Can you see a defect in a window in Exhibit 319?
Yes.
Would you point that out for the jury? And State's Exhibit 320. Does that close in on that defect?
Yes.
And Exhibit 321. Thank you. You can have a seat. Would you tell the jury whether or not there was that defect in that window, whether or not that defect was part of room 111?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so one shot came through the window on the east side of the building.
Yes.
And then did you, I want to orient the jury as to room 11, so let's move to Exhibit 322. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
That's the front door to room 111.
And what condition did you find it in?
Had bullet holes and bullet holes through the window. There was one bullet hole through the door, and another indentation through the door.
And State's Exhibit 323, does that also show that it's classroom 111 in a close-up of the damage done to the?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And then as we open the door and start our way inside, would you describe what we see in Exhibit 325?
That's the inside. That's the inside of the room 111. Doors closed. You can see bloody drag marks going out of room 111.
And is there a piece of either weaponry or ammunition in that exhibit?
Yes. There's the magazine and a few shell casings.
Okay. And are the shell casings marked?
Yes, they are.
How are they marked?
They're marked with yellow arrows and orange arrows.
Okay. Could you tell us then how you went about, what were the steps you took in processing this crime scene?
Initially, we went in as a team. Our team leader gave us a brief of the room. We tried to identify as many defects, as much evidence as we could identify before we started marking or anything else. Then I went in by myself and started doing overall pictures on the entire room.
And the small yellow markers, is that the only markers that y'all had for recovering the cartridges?
Yes.
Okay. Did you thereafter use orange tints, bigger markers?
When we got there, we started using orange markers and orange tints.
Okay, thank you. State Exhibit 326, does this kind of start a rotation look around the room?
Yes, it does.
Give us an idea of the entire picture. So Exhibit 326, could you tell us what we're looking at?
It's a bookshelf. The same magazine is in the same picture. There's yellow markings identifying bullets or spent cartridge cases.
And State's Exhibit 327.
Again, there's a bookshelf with yellow markers marking spent shell casings along with blood.
And Exhibit 329.
That's a easel board that's been damaged. There's bullet defects in the easel board.
And does that show continuation down that wall, the left wall, if you walk into the
Yes, it does.
room? And is there a doorway in that photograph?
There's partial doorway in that photograph. Yes, there is.
And tell us about that doorway.
That's the closet where the gunman was killed.
And is that on the right-hand side?
It's on the right-hand side.
And on the left-hand side, Was there a connecting doorway between 111 and 112?
Yes, there is. That's the door between the wall that would connect 111 and 112.
So you could move from 111 to 112 if the doorway is open.
Correct.
And is that shown on the left-hand side of the photograph?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 331. Excuse me, 330. Is this a continuation down now the second wall?
Yes, it is.
And what do we see there?
We have the sink. We have the closet where the gunman was found deceased. The weapon is in the background. There
Would you
are
point
two.
out the weapon, where the weapon was?
Well, it's right here.
And were you there when the gunman was there?
No, I was not.
Okay, so you can't tell us where the gunman was in relationship to the weapon.
No, I cannot.
Thank you. Exhibit 331.
Again, it's a continuation of the room. There's a desk, bunch of papers, a wall, and there's a flat screen TV that's been shot as well.
Excuse me, you said two things have been shot?
The wall's been shot, and the television, the flat screen television, has been shot in that picture as well.
Okay. And showing you exhibit 334?
So now I'm in the other corner of the room and just taking an overall photograph. There's sunglasses. There's one magazine that I can see, and some markers in there at the bottom where the shell casings are found as well.
And earlier in your presentation, you told us about one of the windows was penetrated.
Yes,
Is that the window on the right-hand side?
yes, it is.
Exhibit 335. Could you describe that for us?
That's a continuation of the same room, same wall, into the other wall. Again, it shows the television. The desks are in array, and the beginning of the whiteboard on the other wall.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate depiction of the absence of blood along this western wall of room 111?
Yes, it is.
And exhibit 336.
That's the whiteboard on that wall. You can see the chairs are thrown around. Backpack on top of the desk.
And is there still an absence of blood along this side of the wall?
Correct. There's an absence of blood.
But now as we head to the corner of that room, does the scene change as far as the presence of blood?
It changes dramatically.
And how would you describe that?
A lot of bullet holes, a lot of shell casings covered in blood, a lot of bullet defects, perforations, penetrations, and just a lot of blood.
And that's what we're about to see now.
Yes, we are.
Showing you State's Exhibit 337. Could you describe what we're seeing here?
Again, that's that whiteboard on that wall. There's a basketball, a lot of shoe impressions. There's a tennis shoe covered in blood. You can start seeing the yellow markers that have already been put in place there for the Smith shell casings, and you can see the drag marks.
Okay, the children were all removed before you took any photographs, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that indications of the children being removed?
Yes, it is.
And Exhibit 341, does it show an overall picture then of the hallway? Excuse me, 342.
Yes, it does.
Of this, of the corner.
Yes.
And is this the corner farthest from the windows as well as farthest from the door?
Yes, it is.
And is that where the preponderance of the blood was recovered?
Yes, it was.
So in your State's Exhibit 343. Are there, do you see blood there on the, both on the floor as well as on the wall?
Yes, I do.
Would you point it out on the wall, please?
Blood spatter right here, along right here,
Camera guy,
and blood spatter right here.
be careful.
And what is the structure that we're looking at that is in front of that wall?
That's the desk that the children were told to hide underneath and basically stay quiet.
Okay. So that's a desk all along that
All
wall?
along the wall. Yes, it is.
Thank you. Exhibit 344?
That's the continuing desk. It's a copy machine.
And are we now about to make the complete 360 rotation of the
Company
room?
360, that's the entry door on the right.
And once again, exhibit 345, that would be the entry door.
Correct.
345?
Yes, that's the entry door.
Thank you. Now, one of the things that you determined not only is picking up cartridges, did you also, were you able to determine flight path of the path of the bullets after they left the gun?
Yes,
Is that-
I assisted with that,
Okay, and you photographed that?
and I photographed that as well.
And I want to direct your attention specifically to that far left corner that we just talked about, away from the door, away from the glass.
Yes,
State's Exhibit 351. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
this is where we're trying to mark the bullet defects and any corresponding bullet defects as well.
And how did you mark the bullet defects?
I didn't mark them, and I don't remember who marked them, but I know they were marked RBD and such number.
I guess I'm just asking, what indicates on that photograph that there are markings for bullet defects?
The white stickers,
The white stickers,
yes,
each one marks a bullet defect,
yes, it does,
whether a full
full or partial,
bullet or a piece.
or a piece, correct.
In addition to the wall, are there any bullet defects on that table or the desk that ran along that hallway wall?
There's gonna be bullet defects on the table, bullet defects on the poles that are holding up the table and the side, the walls. There's bullet defects everywhere.
Thank you. And State's Exhibit 352. What are we looking at here?
This is where we started placing the rods into the bullet defects and also into the corresponding bullet defects.
And so that shows where the bullets entered the desk covering
The children,
that wall
yes.
and the children. State's Exhibit 355. Tell us what we're looking at here.
It's the same thing. So you have stretcher rods going against that wall and then also down where the desk is and behind the wall, behind the desk, into the wall,
So some shots penetrated the desk and then went in a downward angle.
in a downward angle, correct?
And on the wall, do you likewise have rods?
Yes, we do.
And do those also show directionality?
Yes.
And as to the rods on the left, could you explain those to us also?
So that's just the rod showing where, in the general area where the shooter was standing, because those rods are going from right to left, and then the rods going into the desk and behind the wall are going from top down.
Top down?
So it's different angles.
So was the gun in a different position when those pathways were fired?
That's all objective vague and speculation. I'm not really sure what he means by different position. And I don't know if this witness has to.
All right, you'll rephrase it, I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you. You talked about these rods,
Yes.
and what do the rods describe?
It describes the position where the shooter was standing.
Okay. And so if we follow the rod up for some time, we can find the position of the shooter.
Yes.
And are those rods all consistent with the shooter standing in the same position to fire the shots that left those rod impressions?
Yes, they are.
In the same position?
As he's moving around.
Oh, as he's moving around.
Correct.
I guess what I'm saying is, are the rods to the left-hand side of the photograph, is the position of the gun in a different position than when it is shooting?
Yeah, correct. Yes, they are.
Sorry, didn't make a very good question there. And exhibit 356. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
Again, the same bullet defects starting from the top to the bottom. And so the bullets, defects on top of the table, down to the bottom of the wall. We didn't notice this before until afterwards, but the rod that is pointing down actually fell. And nobody caught it until afterwards when we were reviewing the pictures as well.
So that's not an accurate depiction of the pathway of the bullet.
Not that rod.
Okay. But nonetheless, as well as the rods, does that also accurately show the blood spatter on the wall behind and underneath that desk?
Yes, it does.
State's Exhibit 357.
Again, so they have the rods going top left down, and the same rod has still not been corrected.
Okay. And then at the very top of that photograph, what do we see there?
On the top left, there's a LOL.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the top rod, the pink rod.
Yes.
All right. Things got muted. Yeah, I saw it in the chat earlier, just before lunch, just before weekend. And this is tactic.
It really is.
Mm.
But it's
And I have-
also
yeah.
it's also risky because if you burn someone's empathy out at the beginning, they can become numb to it.
Yeah. And if anyone there is now thinking, why? Yeah, I get it, but why are we blaming this guy? The charging document says up until he entered the school. Why are they watching what happened inside those rooms that are outside of the charging document?
Especially when it's been brought out in testimony that, yeah, maybe he didn't do the greatest job at first, but he was there trying to get children out. He wasn't one of the assholes in the hallway that was, putting on hand sanitizer. He was one of the people helping get the kids out.
Yeah.
Because I think you could have made a case for any one of the officers in the hallway. I think all of the officers in the hallway should lose their badges.
Yeah. 400 police officers.
Oh, he's welling up. And I bet his lawyers have probably explained to him, not to get overly emotional. I mean, unfortunately, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't as a defendant. If you cry, it's crocodile tears. If you're stoic, you're cold-blooded.
Yeah. I assume this is a new sidebar. Now might be the time when they are saying this is cumulative. Not going to do my usual jokingly jovious sidebar counter thing.
Yeah.
It's not proper.
And again, this could have been a 3-day trial if they had tailored, because they stipulated to everything that the shooter did. I don't understand why we're here.
Yeah.
Other than to emotionally manipulate.
Well, that's the thing. I believe the prosecution, that's their case. Emotional manipulation. convict him. Look at all the dead kids. And again, he's not charged for what happened in room 111 and 112. He's charged with neglect of not doing stuff before the shooter entered the school. So this is, if convicted, I think this is a huge appellate issue.
Yeah, because it's not a tailored case. They
Yeah.
have yet to prove one element of how he uniquely failed to stop this.
Yeah.
And we're 3 days into a trial,
Yeah. And I mean,
or 4.
yeah, day 4, technically day 4, but one of them was the Brady hearing. But okay, are we starting up again? I'm not controlling the sound. It's the pulled camera.
There might be going through voir dire where the
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
And here's the thing. If they had wanted to, they could have had a demonstrative
Yeah.
with the trajectory with a little dotted line.
Mm. Yeah, they could have had everything on a diagram. They could have had this 3D rendering of the crime scene to pick everything out, to show everything, and only show the photos of the actual shell casings, and the rest on a black and white diagram.
Yeah.
But they want this guy convicted, and for that they are showing the aftermath of what the shooter did. Folks, again, if this, the description that you hear in the testimony, if it gets too much, just take a break. Walk away, come back this afternoon on Mo's stream.
Yeah.
Or come back Monday.
Yeah. Or, I do a breakdown, like 20-minute, just me talking, looking over my notes. I do 20-minute. Okay. I just talk a lot. So they're usually under 20 minutes. And I take a lot of notes. But I'll give you like the witnesses, what they talked about. But that way, if this might not be the trial that you can do, I do breakdowns at the end and usually have them up the same day, just later in the evening.
Good point. Prosecution is the radio logs of what? Yeah. By the way, we still haven't heard what the dispatcher told the cops at scene.
Because
Why aren't they? Yeah.
I was struck at the amount of chaos I was hearing on the dispatcher side.
Yeah.
You could hear someone yelling, I have it in my notes, and I'm an auditory learner, distinctly, where is the school cops? Where are the school cops? Who the hell knows where the school cops are? Or something to that effect.
Yeah. So why aren't the prosecution playing what was relayed to the cops at scene? They might do it, but if they've gone through the 911 calls, maybe they will show it later, but I don't think so for some odd reason.
It's very tricky what they're doing, because they're manipulating how you feel the time was there, how you perceived the time he had. They're purposely doing things out of order to make it seem like he had, we hear about this call. They didn't string the calls together like the defense did in their opening statement and the arrival times. The state is being purposely nonlinear.
Yeah, which the defense is. And we are talking about from when Gonzales came there, exited his cop car, to when the shooter entered the school, I believe it is less than 2 minutes. And meanwhile, he's calling out stuff via radio. He has this person who is shouting something. He's hearing gunfire, where is everything happening? Now, should he have run towards it? Maybe. But we haven't heard anything. We heard he has training. We haven't heard what his training was. Just
Yeah.
that he was trained to run towards the danger. Yeah, but was he trained to do other things? Like, are you training, if you're first on scene, or is your training to immediately run towards danger or to assess the scene and relay it to the next wave of cops? We don't know.
And Nick, someone's saying that Law and Crime has sound.
Oh. Let's see here. Let me get there. Yeah, they have.
Oh, okay. That's odd that Court TV doesn't have it.
I don't know why. Well, they didn't hear, but they had.
Marker number 16 with a spent shell casing.
That's a close-up. Huh?
With a close-up, yes.
And 385.
Okay, no. It was the same, but
Oh.
we are a few minutes behind. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were just ahead of us.
It's marker number 16 with a spent shell casing.
Okay. And the next exhibit?
Marker number 16 with a spent shell casing.
That's a close-up. Huh?
With a close-up, yes.
And 385.
That's an overall. So we have 22, 17, 18, 19. And they are going to be spent shell casings as well.
And then do you close in and pick up each one of those exhibits individually?
Yes.
And our next exhibit, marker 17.
That's number 17 with an L scale, yes.
And marker 18, exhibit 386.
A spent shell casing with the L scale.
Exhibit 387.
It's be marker 19, spent shell casing with an L shell.
Exhibit 388.
It's gonna be number 21 and 20, spent shell casings.
And isn't that in a different location altogether in the room?
Yes, that's gonna be towards the back wall where the whiteboard is.
Where all the whiteboard was?
Yes.
Thank you. And exhibit 389.
That's a spent shell casing with the scale as well.
390.
A spent shell casing with the L scale.
And 391.
That's an overall of 4 markers with spent shell casings.
Okay. And marker number 22. Next one, please.
Yeah, if they're going through every marker, I mean, just do the rough calculation. 19 dead. Now 21 with the teachers. A dozen injured. And there were more than one shot. If they are showing every shell casing, this is getting stupid.
Well, and it's hard for people to process. I'm not a visual, or I don't understand spatial distances. My brain, so the way he's presenting it, like here, and then a couple minutes later, he'll bring back
Mm.
that path. It's purposely making this more difficult for the jury. And you already know that the jury's going to be overwhelmed. Why would you overwhelm them more by making them do these things?
Yeah, but the jury has, I don't know if they're only showing photos of, or if they had have an overall photo as well.
That's a spin steel casing with a L scale marked as number 22.
Exhibit. I think I got these out of order. No. 392, what does that show us?
It's number 23.
And exhibit number 393.
Again, number 23, but that's a live unfired cartridge.
Exhibit 395.
It's number 24 with the spent shell casing with the L scale.
Exhibit 396.
Number 25 with the spent shell casing and the L scale.
397.
That's a spent shell casing.
Is it,
That's a
is it a
different-
different shell casing?
Yes, it is.
Tell us the difference.
That's from a pistol. That's going to be from a semi-automatic pistol.
From a pistol?
Yes.
Did you recover any pistol on or about the gunman?
No.
Is this also the room that law enforcement eventually breached?
Yes, it is.
And did they carry with them their own weapons?
Yes, they did.
Is this an indication that a weapon was fired other than the long rifle that the gunman had?
Correct.
And how would you characterize the weapon that fired this?
I don't know exactly what weapon they fired, but I know it's going to be a semi-automatic pistol.
A pistol, a
Yes.
handgun as opposed to a rifle?
Correct.
And exhibit 398.
It's a spent shell casing with the L scale.
399.
A spent shell casing with the L scale.
And 400.
Another spent shell casing in dry blood with the L scale.
Exhibit 401.
A spent shell casing in blood as well.
Exhibit 402.
It's another spent shell casing with L scale and blood.
And does exhibit 403 show general locations of the next exhibits?
Yes, it does.
Exhibit 404.
More spent cartridge casings as well.
Excuse me, I have this as exhibit 403. Okay. I'd like a note.
The 32 and 35 are shell casings as well.
And exhibit 404. That's on that. Could you tell us what that is?
That's a spent shell casing with L scale.
And exhibit 405.
Another spent shell casing in blood with the L scale.
Exhibit 406.
A spent shell casing with the L scale.
And 47. 407, excuse me.
That's in,
406 and 407.
there's a spent shell casing with L scale, and there's another casing on top.
And that was 33.
Probably.
Exhibit 408.
A spent shell casing, two spent shell casings, three. There's four shell casings there.
4 shell
Four.
casings there.
Yes.
And 409.
There's two spent shell casings in blood with the L scale.
410.
It's overall of the markers with spent shell casings as well.
And this is just north of that hallway wall
Yes,
toward the center of the room.
yes.
411.
It's a spent shell casing with an L scale.
412.
That's another spent shell casing with the L scale.
Number 413.
That's 2 spent shell casings with the L scale.
414.
There's 3 spent shell casings in there with an L scale as well.
415.
There's 3 rifle shell casings and 1 pistol shell casing with L scale.
And would you point out the pistol showcase? Indicating the pistol was fired now twice in that room.
Yes.
Thank you. Exhibit 416.
That spent pistol shell casing.
That you just described.
Yes.
Exhibit 417.
2 spent.
Yes, Toffee Sock. From when he entered the school building, before he was shot and killed, 77 minutes.
Yes.
400 cops at scene quite quickly. None of those.
No. And we are going to hear 911 calls from inside the room. Children were calling people. Look, let's just say there were a lot of screw-ups that day, and I don't see how this officer can be held when those officers waited in the hallway.
But yeah, he had he had time to barricade himself inside those classrooms. That's another issue. He had time to barricade himself. There were this first responder who is charged here. Then you had 3 people who had a line of sight just before he entered the building. And then more cops arrived. They entered the building but did not fucking approach. Everybody was waiting for orders and telling them what to do.
Yeah, now the chief and other people trying to excuse this were saying that they didn't have the proper shielding or equipment. But it's going to be interesting because the state is going to make the claim that regardless of equipment, regardless of what you have, that officer should go toward the danger.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have the proper shielding, so they didn't approach him inside. But this first responder had 0 shielding, but he was supposed to run towards, waiting for a key. That wasn't necessary because every fucking teacher in there had a key. They were looking for the master key specifically.
yes.
Yeah.
Rifle shell casings with L scale and blood.
And when you say spent shell casings.
They've been fired.
Just to be clear, that a gun has gone off, powder burned, causing an explosion, making sound.
Correct.
To each one of these cases.
For each one that's been, yes, it's been fired.
Exhibit 418.
Shell casings on top of the desk, marked 34 and 43.
And 419.
The spent shell casing in the box lid.
And 420.
More spent shell casings around the drag marks.
And exhibit 421.
More spent rifle shell casings with an L scale.
Exhibit 422.
5 spent shell casings with an L scale.
423.
The spent shell casing with the L scale.
424. 5.
A spent shell casing with blood and the L scale. 2 spent shell casings.
And 426.
A spent shell casing with an L scale.
427.
Spent shell casing with an L scale.
And 428. Excuse me.
More spent shell casings with an L scale.
I'm now on 429. What are we looking at here?
The 3 spent shell casings with an L scale and blood.
Okay, I think we're getting off on our presentation. That would be 430 that you're on. That's 430. Okay. So 430 is 3 spent shell casings
Correct.
and exhibit 431.
A spent shell casing.
Could you point that out for us? Okay. And did you zero in on that exhibit 432?
I believe so. Yes, I did.
And exhibit 433?
Multiple spent shell casings with
So
an
at
L
some
scale.
point, your marker started marking more than one spell casing, is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Exhibit 434. Would you describe what we see here?
So there's a ruffle bag covered in blood, a spent shell casing with the L scale, and another spent shell casing on top that also has blood.
And exhibit 435.
A magazine right next to right below the rifle.
The rifle's at the top of that.
Yes.
And the next exhibit? I have that as 435.
It's a spent cartridge casing, rifle shell that has an L scale as well.
436. What are we looking at here?
Under the desk, under the chair, right next to the, I guess the arm of the chair, there's another spent shell casing marked as 55.
And 437. Excuse me, 439.
A spent rifle shell casing on the top of the desk.
And now 439.
That's the copy machine.
And on
And
top of
there's
the copy machine, is there a basket?
On top of the basket, yes, there's a basket on top, but there's also a spent shell casing in the, I guess, drawer.
And for the record, that was exhibit 440 and 439.
The spent shell casing inside the basket.
And 441.
That's where I try to mark the spent shell casing inside the cabinet.
And did you zero in on that?
Yes, I did.
442
To the top left corner of the 58.
and 443.
It shows the back of the cartridge where the primer struck where the fire
And you
pin.
then change locations to the television.
Yes.
Showing you the next exhibit for, I have it as 443. Let me go. Tell us what we're looking at here.
I can't see. I'm not sure if it's a bullet fragment or what it is next to number 59.
It's obvious not a share casing then. Is that
Correct. There's nothing.
So exhibit 444, close up of that 59 marker.
That's a bullet fragment with an L scale.
And exhibit 445. What does that show us?
Marker 60 and 50, and from this distance I can't.
So have we now moved into collecting fragments
Correct,
in general?
in general.
So exhibit 446,
That's a bullet fragment with an L scale.
and before I get away from casings, let me ask you, your job is just to photograph them, is that correct?
Correct.
But were all of those casings gathered
Yes, they were.
and evaluated and analyzed as to which shots belong to the gunman's versus law enforcement?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
But that was not done by you.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Exhibit 446. Excuse me, I guess that's 447. What are we looking at
It's
here?
a bullet hole through the window.
And is that the same bullet hole that we saw at the very beginning of your presentation?
Yes.
448. What are we looking at here?
That's a, so you can see the torn rope for the blinds, and you also see a bullet impact
Into the blind of
into
that
the
window?
blind. Yes.
Thank you. 449.
It's
What do we
another
see here?
bullet impact, and you can see where the string was also struck by the bullet as well.
And exhibit 450.
That's another bullet impact
To the blind.
through the blind. Correct.
Exhibit 451.
A scale with the bullet impact,
And 452.
a bullet fragment.
And where is it in relationship to those blinds you've just been describing?
It's at the bottom of the blinds.
453.
More bullet fragments. And
Mark
blood.
62.
Marked at 62, yes.
454. Could you describe what we're looking at there?
That was a pool of blood. I see markers 28, 29, 27, and they're moving items out of the way so we can continue our search.
And underneath that sack, does it appear to be another cartridge casing?
Yes, there is.
Stage exhibit 455.
Three spent cartridge casings.
Marked as 63.
Correct.
456.
Spent cartridge casing by number 64.
457.
More of a close-up of a spent shell casing marked 64.
458.
Number 65 in the middle with the bloody tennis shoe in that picture with blood.
And 459.
A bullet fragment with an L scale.
And that's marked as 65.
That's 65.
460.
Number 66 with a spent cartridge casing.
461.
A close-up of number 66 with a spent shell casing and a L scale.
462.
A spent shell casing marked number 67.
463.
A spent shell casing marked 68.
469. Oh, it's 464. Excuse me, 464. The previous was 463, it's 464.
I see the marker. Until I zoom in, I won't be able to tell what I'm looking at.
Okay, let's look at the next one, 465.
It's a bullet fragment. Mark 69.
And exhibit 466.
That's a close-up of the bullet fragment.
467. Could you tell us what that is? Above the marker 70.
The spent shell casing in the seat.
And exhibit 468, is that a close-up of that?
Yes, it is.
469.
Overall of the closet after we started taking everything out and we left the markers there.
So exhibit 470.
A bullet fragment marked 75.
471.
I can see bullet marker 76 and 77.
And exhibit 472, does that close up on that?
Yes, there's a backpack with the water bottle inside.
And exhibit 473 next to the backpack?
That's the spent shell casing.
And 474.
That's spent shell casing inside the pocket of the backpack.
Exhibit 475.
Bullet fragments marked as 78.
476.
And overall, where we removed the copy machine, there's markers 79 and 80.
And does it also show 79 and 80?
Yes.
Exhibit 477.
A spent shell casing found behind that marker.
478.
It's a box with a spent shell casing inside it, number 81.
And 479.
Bullet fragments. That's a bullet fragment from 81.
480. Is that just a marker that shows another
That's a marker right now
fragment?
with a fragment problem.
481.
It's another marker with fragments.
And behind number 83, what appears to be, what are those objects behind 83?
It's like an orange, the two orange cups that are like upside down, and there's a bullet impact right there.
Showing you exhibit 482.
That's the bullet impact with the shell casing and bullet fragment.
Exhibit 483.
Another spent shell casing marked 84.
484.
Where I zoomed in on that spent shell casing.
And 485. Excuse me, I'm going to stop at 484. Back up. How long did it take for y'all to process this crime scene?
I was there for 3 days. I was sent back to El Paso, and the rest of the guys stayed there for, I'm assuming, another week is what I think I remember.
And you said something about a Hellfire trigger system.
Yes.
Was it recovered during your photography?
No, it was not.
Did y'all, after taking the photographs, did y'all review the photographs before leaving the crime scene completely?
Yes. And so Ranger Brian Burney was reading my photographs, and in my overall photographs is where he saw the Hellfire trigger system. And that's how we knew, or that's how they knew to go to that grid in order to recover it.
And so did y'all go back in to recover the Hellfire trigger system?
Yes.
And in general terms, do you know what a Hellfire trigger system is?
It's an attachment that turns your semi-automatic weapon into a full automatic weapon.
It fires much faster
Much faster.
with that trigger system on.
Correct.
Pass the witness.
I have a bit, but I think the break probably done.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch recess. Let's do 1:45 again, 1:45. See you back. Can everyone let the jury get out so they can get their lunch? Would everyone rise for the jury?
All right.
All right.
Rancher, the rules been invoked. Don't discuss this with anybody other than the lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know a lot about these trigger systems, but is that functionally true that they just become fully like as automatic, or is it simply a faster trigger system than a human could do rapidly firing themselves?
I don't know. I don't know that much about guns.
Yeah,
Actually. I know the bad end, and I know where the trigger is. And if Dave ever, hey, test this gun. All right, when was the last time you serviced it? It's never been serviced. Okay, so it's going to be shit.
Well, I didn't know. I'm ignorant on that stuff. So you look a bit like Runkle if I squint. So I figured maybe.
Now, if you're asking me if, I mean, we didn't have it on our Swedish military weapons. We had one option. Well, you had a little lever, okay? One shot at a time, semi-automatic or full auto. That's what we had in the military. So that's about.
Yeah,
so,
I just don't trust this prosecutor or anything he says. He doesn't seem like he knows what he's talking about. So.
Yeah. This is rough, and I have to repeat myself. This is after he entered the school building, the shooter. The defendant here is only charged with his inactivity up until the shooter entered the school building. So I don't see how this evidence from inside room 111, 112, how that has anything to do with his inactions.
Yeah, and I do think that, again, the state does really run the risk of burning the jury out. You can only, emote so much. You can only, if they want these things to have a big impact, they could have had a very small, focus case. And then for a proof of life, show the children alive. Now, that would have probably been just as devastating as these graphic pictures and would have made the point that these children are no longer here.
Yeah, the prosecution runs the risk if the defense are good at pointing out, we know what you saw. We know what the prosecution wanted you to saw. We want to remind you, our defendant is not charged with killing these kids. He's not charged with him shooting from inside the school. He's only charged with things he himself did up until this monster entered the school. And then force blame it on. So what you have been seeing here is because the prosecution wants you to look at these pictures and blame these pictures were never necessary to prove our client's guilt, but this is the case the prosecutor has.
Well, and the prosecutor could make this exact case with those 3 other officers that had a line of sight and asked if they could take a shot. That's the problem. The state doesn't have anything that they've pulled out yet that shows this man was uniquely responsible from the moment he got there for everything that happened after he got there.
Nothing that happened after he got there. Now, the result of his inactions is this, but he's not charged with it. So I do think this is in excess of the things he's actually charged with. All right, folks, I think we all need a break.
Yes.
You have set up the...
I
need
believe
to...
I do.
Yeah, let's hear. So I will redirect you guys to Mo's afternoon stream. But you actually need to take a break.
Yes. Get some food, take some mental space. This is not an easy trial, and we appreciate you guys hanging out, but we never want to, know your limits.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do about a 15 to 20 minute breakdown at the end of the day. And if, you ever just need to take a break, I do a breakdown.
Yeah. And if you want something lighthearted, 5 p.m. Eastern, Slightly Buzzed Friday Law Show, and we are going through the Young Thug civil suit and the ruling from the court that Fulton County DA's office has to give Young Thug back his stuff before 5 p.m. today. Now, I've seen rumors that he already got it, but we know he haven't gotten it all because we know there's at least one item missing, a $350,000 Richard Mille watch. Also, the cash that Young Thug had in his house, close to $250,000 in cash. Did he get all of that back? Have you seen Fonny Willie's collection of purses lately?
Yeah, well,
So 5 p.m., join after Mo's stream. I will be going for... I have guests. Let's see here who has... let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Happily Angry Lawyer, I think, will join. I have Almost Yes from Doug Weinstein.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, I have invited... I will send you an invite as well, Mo. Okay.
Oh, thanks. And it's Friday, so I don't have to be homework warden.
Yay! So folks...
my stream will start, at 2:45 or 2:40. I usually start just a bit early in case they start recording a bit early. So if it's currently 1:40 your time, you are on my time.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2:40 Eastern time.
Yes.
2:40 Eastern time. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing this with us. I hope we got to get the unbearable tolerable for you.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I love the fact that I can say, oh, guys, does anyone know what this thing does? And half the people in chat are like, no, that's BS. So thank you guys so much. Bye, you guys.
See ya.